Your morning just got more interesting. Distilled and barrel-picked for your listening pleasure. Bo Bishop, a local sports media legend. What William T. Sherman was to the Union Army, he is to Northern College football. A husband, a father, and middling youth sports coach. He's friends with Central Ohio sporting royalty.
I'm talking to Ohio State Athletic Director Ross Bjorken. Coach Day walking on with us right now. Good to see you, buddy. Good buddy Austin Ward. My good buddy Tim May, the Tim May Show. The great Doug Lavery is joining us.
Hi, everybody. Dom Tiberi here.
Oh, Reese came in and he handed me papers.
Yeah,
and then
and
then he said, "You see that button? That's the only button you need to worry about. Don't touch. There's 8,000 buttons in front of me." Oh, I didn't know what he was talking about.
The one that says on.
We blew the budget on this imaging, and only two guys answered our ad on Craigslist. Ryan Baker and Eric Reeser. Act accordingly. You're now listening to Bishop and Friends.
Bishop and Friends is sponsored by Diamond Seller, your true jeweler for over 75 years.
All right, let's do it live on a Thursday edition of the program. Bo and the boys with you for the next 3. Your emails. We'll open up the mailbag at 10 o'clock. 10:30, Paul Finebaum going to join us. 20 most interesting, the Oregon Ducks. James Crepea going to join us coming up at 11:30 on that side of things. We have a slicked-up brother bone. He's all slicked up. That was a scene, man. That was a scene.
Kind of jarring, to be honest.
Bake asked me, what would it take for me to shave my beard or head on air? The head one would be, see, my fear there would be, then are we sure it would all grow back? That'd be my fear there. Now, I have nothing to believe that it wouldn't, but that would be it, that I would be in that world and I feel like when you're there, you can't come out. That's it. You're locked in. The beard, I used to shave clean once a year. I probably haven't the last couple of years, but I used to do it right before I went on spring break. I'd get all slicked up. You're all slicked up today, Reese. And you'll vacillate between. I feel like you're like a werewolf. You'll grow a beard in 6 hours.
Yeah, I blink, and sometimes it's like, I should probably shave that.
By the time he leaves today at noon, like he'll have a full
I have
5
a
o'clock
11 o'clock shadow, a 1 o'clock shadow, and a 6 o'clock shadow.
So, when did that first happen for you?
This was probably sophomore, junior year in college.
Okay, that's when it became. Oh, yeah. I can grow a beard.
Yep.
Watch this. Just wait to get a look at me. Bake and I were talking off air. The craziest thing in all of this is Tyvus has never had a straight razor to his face, which seems impossible. And I don't know if you, Bake, this may have happened for you. I don't know if this was happening when you were still of age, Reese, or if maybe just a weird thing that happened in Montana. But there was one of the razor companies, either Gillette or Schick or something in that universe, when I was in high school, they would send you your first razor and they would send you a mini shave cream. And the idea being that let's get them right away. And I think I used that first razor and that shave cream, and I probably stayed with whichever brand that was. I mean, it's been a long, long time. I don't remember it, but I probably stayed with that brand for a very, very long time. Because once you get into a routine, like, you just stay with it, especially when I was shaving every day.
So I don't remember that necessarily, but I feel like every boy, like, even if they didn't need to shave, tried to shave just to be like their dad or something. So that's crazy that Tyvus has never had a razor to his face.
Yeah. Yeah. My dad was always, it was always wet shave, and then he's had a mustache the whole time I've known him. I don't know. I've never seen him without a mustache my whole life. Not once.
That tan line is probably so permanent, it still looked like he had a mustache.
He's just had I've never seen him without it. There's been times when he'll try to grow like a goatee or like he'll do like a little beard. It doesn't last long, but it's been a mustache his entire life. And I think Brother Bone, there was a moment there, Bacon, I think you're right, where if the mustache stays, he could be Columbus's top cop in a second.
Oh, yeah, like Reno 911 for sure. Yeah. I almost ran out to my car and grabbed the aviators just to put them on him and see what it looked like.
Would have been unbelievable to see it happen.
And I was glad they went with the beard first, because that's what I always do if it gets too bushy. Yeah. Like, I'll start with the beard and see how the mustache looks. Mm-hmm. And then every time I've rocked a mustache, it's always been because, oh, that looks fun. And away we go.
I think there's an attitude to the mustache, isn't there?
Yeah.
I think there's an attitude to it. We don't see it. It's not as common. It had a little bit of a renaissance in the last decade with like No Shave November and all of that. Like it gets a little bit of love, but you don't see it like you used to. There are some people who are committed to it, like Warren Sharp football guy. Like he's got one and he's that's it. That's the identity. But you don't see him the way that you used to. It used to be in television. It was the only acceptable facial hair you could have. You could have a mustache, but you could not have a beard. And they would get honest. I remember the first time we did that, I was going to do No Shave November at Channel 10. They were like, "Yeah, I don't think that's going to go. I don't think we're going to do that. I think we're going to be pretty slicked up." And I want to say, I mentioned the top cop. I want to say it was those two guys from ESPN Canada, Jay Onrait and Dan O'Toole. Mm-hmm. I think those are the guys who really made like the No Shave November thing happen for us in the sports biz, and they did the mustaches, which were pretty great. So, yeah, God bless him. Hey, there was a moment, I can't recall the year, Michael Coleman was the mayor, and there was a story that was done about us getting an NBA team. So I would say I want to say I was doing the show with AR. And so it's probably 15 years ago. And I remember like it was one of this time of year, and we got like an hour out of it. And all of the shows on the Fan got about an hour out of it. And it was, hey, maybe we'll be an NBA team. And I think the idea was we got a venue. We've got the Blue Jackets. Would you like the NBA too? And it got some traction. It wasn't very serious, though. It didn't feel like something that would ever come to pass. And as we've gotten further away from that, it becomes less and less likely that something like that happens. We have the Blue Jackets. We have the Crew on the professional front. Obviously, AAA, you've got the Clippers as well, but you've got Ohio State. But this is a boom town of a market, and you can't help but notice from the outside looking in. Well, we talked about this with the WNBA going to Cleveland and Detroit. I actually think WNBA would thrive here. I think it would just absolutely crush here. But you're going to be in NBA markets is the way that it's going to go. So we got this news a couple of days ago. I missed it. I'll be candid with you. I totally missed it. I didn't see it. And I know we had it on the poll yesterday, or we had something to do with it on the poll yesterday in terms of naming the team. But a guy named James Larson, who's with PFN, had a tweet yesterday. Major changes are coming to the UFL per multiple sources. USFL markets in Michigan, Houston, Birmingham, and Memphis are being relocated for 2026. Plenty more changes to come. The UFL is blowing up this offseason. The 4 new UFL markets will be Boise, Idaho, Columbus, Ohio, Florida, likely Orlando, and Kentucky, Louisville, Lexington. Blockbuster moves to be announced by the leagues over the coming weeks. So I will tell them this. I think they're pretty smart with some of the markets they chose here. I do think like a Louisville, Lexington thing might work. I mean, there's nothing there in terms of professional sports. You're not that far from Cincinnati, but you got a chance. I'm dubious to think that this will be some sort of great success here, but I also don't know how success is defined in the UFL anymore. I think they had something with the XFL, and they probably had a little of something with the USFL, and then they merged them, and it feels like they lost whatever momentum and identity they had. It all went away. And this, I just don't know. Like, you guys are both Central Ohio natives. Does this land? Is this how are we going to define success for this thing? Do we want it?
I think there's a desire for it. I don't know how long it can run. I think what you have to do in your inaugural season, and it really, I think, depends on where they're going to be having these games at. Like, does this...
Well, that's critical.
Does this become a thing where Ross Bjork chimes in and says, we've got a place, and you do games at the Horseshoe in the spring? Or you go... I mean, you can't lower.com field, but...
That's where I would do it. So if you could work it out with the Crew.
And you also draft Buckeyes.
So
that's your roster.
From everything I've heard, it's going to be at Old Crew Stadium, historic Crew Stadium, is what I've heard is where it would be, which I think historic Crew Stadium would have to modernize some things. So if you guys, I don't think we remember, and we've talked about this a little, the Ohio Glory. that was part of NFL Europe or whatever back in the early 90s.
Oh, I don't have any point of reference on that, Bake.
It was played at the Shoe. And the problem is, and this was the problem with the high school games, the state championships at the Shoe, you get 10,000 people in there, you get 15,000 people. It's like a drop in a bucket.
Yeah,
the atmosphere is terrible, and there's just nothing there. So I don't think you can do it at Ohio Stadium, quite frankly. Now, is it something where you could go to like Ohio Wesleyan and use old Selby Stadium? That, but again, you'd need a lot of upgrades.
They don't want that though.
It's got to be centralized.
So yeah, I'm thinking Moffray Stadium would be the place. And Reese, you're right.
Is that historic Crew?
Yes, I guess it's not Moffray anymore, I guess. But
well, I remember when I got the release when I was
what's a Moffray?
Extra, then I got to call it Moffray, and I'm going, wait, what's a Moffray? I don't even know what that is.
But Reese, you're right. And here's the thing: the USFL or the UFL didn't have a lot of Buckeyes in the league this past year because most of the Buckeyes are playing in the NFL. But that's what you would need to do, I think, is go Buckeye heavy on your roster, at least that first season or first couple of seasons, to try to get a foothold here in the market.
Yeah, the Destroyers tried doing that a little bit with the Arena League, and that actually had some juice for a while. Like the Arena League had some juice for a while, where they were playing in front of full houses, and that was a real success story that probably got too big too quick, and it all just crumbled. But they would do that a little bit. So to me, the only place that you'd have a chance, because here's what look, let's be real candid with it. With all of the competition that we have for our attention and eyeballs and how we're going to spend our time, it's got to be a place you want to go. So to me, the only thing that could create like an atmosphere and it be cool would be lower.com. But I don't think the Crew probably want that. I can't imagine that they want that they would want sharing with the UFL team. I'll tell you what, there's one thing that the UFL could do that would make it a stunning success and give it longevity and purpose and all of it. We will get into that. You're going to hear from Joe Burrow. How happy is he that there is no Trey Hendrickson and Shamar Stewart loaded up here on a Thursday edition. Bishop and Friends right here on The Fan.
If you consider yourself a Buckeye fan, you've come to the right place. This is your heritage sports talker and home of Ohio State Athletics, The Fan, Ohio's sports destination.
At Kroger, you never compromise. You get high quality and low prices. Like you never compromise your meal with our spring salad mix that's guaranteed fresh. And you never compromise your budget with lower prices on over 1,000 items. Hand it to Kroger shoppers. You never compromise. Kroger. Fresh for everyone.
Right now, Private Selection 80% lean Angus ground beef chuck in 1-pound packages is $5.49 each with your digital coupon. Kroger, fresh for everyone.
Career changers, including veterans and active duty service members. Your transition starts here. Go from GI to IT in a matter of months. Become a certified cyber warrior with training at My Computer Career. Cybersecurity specialists are in high demand, offering IT pros great opportunities and a rewarding lifestyle while protecting our people, liberty, and treasured institutions from cyber threats. Deploy your career in IT today at mycomputercareer.edu/CWP, an elite CompTIA certification partner.
VA education benefits are available to those who qualify.
Hey guys, it's Timmy Hall, and I want to talk to you about the roof over your head. You know that thing that protects your house and everything in it? It's pretty important, and a lot of you are going to have to replace it soon, but be warned. There are companies out there that skip over the biggest part of the process, the attic ventilation. You see, if that attic doesn't have proper circulation, it can cause problems such as mold and rot. You got rot. And not to mention leaks in the wintertime and higher AC bills in the summer. This is one of the reasons I'm telling you about my guys at Victor's Home Solutions. They start with a free 21-point roof inspection, including a thorough inspection of that attic as well. They know that if that ventilation isn't right, that roof's going to be built on a shaky foundation. That's why every Victor's roof comes with a well-thought-out attic ventilation plan, and that's why they can offer a 50-year leak-free guarantee on every roof they install. Money-saving discounts and financing incentives are also available. Call for your free 21-point roof inspection and get that estimate today. 866-VICTORS or go to victors.com.
The sun is out and the savings are on. Now at Coghlan Chevrolet. Lease a new 2025 Chevy Trax for $159 a month. A new 2026 Chevy Equinox, only $259 a month. Or a new 2025 Silverado, lease for $359 a month. See our full inventory at CoglanChevrolet.com. Together, let's drive.
Coghlan has the car for you.
36-month lease with $39.99 due at signing, plus tax, title, and license. 10,000 miles per year, 25 cents per mile over. See dealer for details. Ends 8/4/25.
Football in July, outstanding, and it's kicking off at the Pro Football Hall of Fame July 31st in Football Heaven in Canton, Ohio. And you can still grab tickets for the Hall of Fame game between the Lions and the Chargers. And then on August 2nd, 4 of the greatest of all time get immortalized in bronze at the Class of 25 enshrinement. And cap off the weekend Sunday with a concert for legends featuring Nickelback with special guest Mitchell Tenpenny. It's a gold jacket weekend. Visit ProFootballHof.com to learn more and get your tickets.
Morning Juice is live on YouTube. Weekday mornings starting at 6. Or on demand whenever you want it. Yeah, whenever. Bobby Carpenter's at your beck and call. And Tito's there too, to clean the toilets. Head to YouTube and subscribe today.
Imagine what it would feel like getting tackled head-on by a 240-pound linebacker. You'd be in serious pain, right? But if you're unbuckled in a car crash, at just 50 miles an hour, you become a deadly projectile that can slam into other passengers with 8 times that amount of force. Don't let someone else take the hit. Buckle up and visit buckleup.ohio.gov to learn more. Brought to you by ODOT and ODPS.
AmeriHealth Caritas Ohio is your Medicaid plan for more benefits, more rewards. We know that good health means more than just seeing a doctor when you're sick. Eligible members can receive extras like home-delivered meals and family essentials, like baby carriers and kids' school supplies. Members can even earn rewards for playing mobile health trivia games. Learn more at AmeriHealthCaritasOH.com and call the Ohio Medicaid Consumer Hotline at 1-800-324-8680 to choose AmeriHealth Caritas Ohio.
Fan weather.
From the Logan AC and Heat Services Weather Center.
A heat alert is in place for today. Our temperature's in the low 90s, but with that humidity, the feels like will be into the triple digits, so make sure you're taking breaks in the shade and drinking plenty of fluid. For tonight, mostly clear skies with chances of showers and thunderstorms popping up as we go overnight into Friday morning. It'll be warm tonight with lows down into the upper 70s. For the Fan, I'm meteorologist Meredith Garfalo with your 10 Weather Impact forecast.
Matty Ice is currently bathing himself in creamy jalapeno dip. And I've officially run out of ways to tease this show. Rothman and Ice.
Weekdays at noon.
The Fan. The final season of Yellowstone might just be Bo's dad live on YouTube. What's the difference anyway? This is Bishop and Friends.
This is kind of, to me, the one path for spring football. Whether it's the UFL or some other machination of it, it has to have NFL support. And quite honestly, if you ask NFL coaches, general managers, go ask NFL players at the bottom of the depth chart, guys on practice squads, especially quarterbacks. The one beef they have in an NFL now that has such truncated practice schedules compared to what it used to be 20 years ago is there aren't enough reps to go around. And if a spring football operation had the backing of the National Football League as a true minor league and a way to take players they were drafted and let them play more, that I think would have a place if there was a true minor league for the NFL where they could put guys who needed more reps. I mean, you think about, what Shedeur Sanders needs? More reps. Dylan Gabriel needs more reps. I think of a guy like Deshaun Kaiser, who had all the intangibles, all the size, the arm, makeup, all of it, but got wrecked by Hugh Jackson that first year and was never really the same. Deshaun Kaiser only started 1 year at Notre Dame. Just one. What if he would have had 2 12-game spring seasons to play football? They just need to play more football. They're not playing enough. So to me, if there's, the roadmap to that is windy, but I don't even know if it's as hard as, I don't think it's maybe as hard as they're making it out to be. It feels to me like if you had NFL participation and a true minor league, a true developmental league for the National Football League, that there would be big value in that. And to me, that's the only way that this is ever going to gain any real footing. I think otherwise you can get, your bottom of the barrel last Buckeye guys who aren't playing in the league. You can get those guys. The problem is for most of those guys, they can make more money doing something else and they don't want to go through it. So what's the financial incentive for them to continue playing and continue to get your body beat up with no real path to the NFL? But if there was a path to the NFL, if you had NFL association, then I think you have a chance. And I think I know it's something NFL coaches and general managers would love, would be that.
Yeah, I think that's always been the thing, right? Like if the NFL got on board with these spring leagues and used them as a true minor league and another developmental type system, especially we talk about all the time with the quarterback position, how many reps you really need to be good at the quarterback position. And I was thinking that as you were throwing it to break, here's the one thing. I was thinking, what if this team in Columbus had practice squad players or, guys that are on futures reserves contracts with the Browns and the Bengals and the Steelers? How many people might want to go see, hey, maybe this guy has some potential for my NFL team in the future?
Absolutely.
Because then you could do it wherever. I keep going back to wherever you play this thing at is going to be so important, because if it's in the arena district, it's walkable, it's bikeable, it's accessible. It doesn't matter as much the attraction so much as, I can walk to a football game for $15, $20. If you make it like a pipeline system, say you partner with the Bengals and the Browns, and the Columbus whatevers are going to be your farm system team for both of those squads, then you have a little bit more flexibility, I think, of where you actually play your games at. You can do Historic Crew Stadium or Fortress Obets or however the other smaller facilities you have, because people will want to travel to go see the prospects of the future.
Yeah. I mean, look, go to the Bengals. I'm on Bengals depth chart right now. We're going to hear from Burrow in a second. You tell me, Desmond Ridder doesn't need more snaps?
That'd be such a hit.
Yeah. Go forth, young man. Let's see, because that's one of the biggest beefs that NFL coaches have right now is the guy, especially at quarterback. It's just impossible to get them right. It's just impossible. And we give up on guys maybe quicker than we used to. And so, there aren't enough good quarterbacks in the league, guys. Have you guys looked at the depth chart at the New Orleans Saints?
Yeah, I don't want to. That's not safe.
It's terrifying.
Yeah.
It's terrifying. There aren't enough.
The quarterback room for the New York Giants is Russell Wilson, Jameis Winston, Tommy Cutlets, and Jackson Dart.
Yeah, that's pedigree. I'm going to give you, this is the Saints. Here's the Saints. Tyler Shuck, Spencer Rattler, Jake Haener, and Hunter Deckers. I don't even know who the last guy is. Rattler doesn't need to play more?
Do you know how I know who Hunter Deckers is?
Tell me.
He's the Iowa State quarterback that got caught up in the gambling.
Oh, of course you know that. Of course you know that. But that's there aren't enough. So, to me, if that would be the way, and the only other thing is and I think we love all of our teams, but God, is the state of Ohio really bad at naming teams. We really struggle. Historically we struggle. It's a tough sell for us. So, I don't know, outsource the name of the thing. That would be probably the best way to do it, because we'll screw it up if it's in here. We'll screw up the colors, we'll screw up the name, we'll screw up everything. So outsource that to some sort of a groupthink thing to come up with a good name for it. I don't think the NFL is going to get involved, and I think that's kind of the only way you're going to have stability in the spring. The Bengals started practice, of course, this week. Everybody has throughout the NFL. In Cincinnati, this is a massive season, obviously, in many, many ways, but it's starting with a little bit of distraction. That, of course, no Trey Hendrickson, no Shamar Stewart. Neither one are there. The guy who is there is Joe Burrow. He weighed in on their absence.
Yeah, obviously disappointing. You'd like to have all your guys out there day one to try to build that cohesion that I was talking about earlier, but it's not how it usually works out. It's a business, and that is how it's gone.
The big kind of news this week out of Cincinnati, aside from Hendrickson and Stewart, has been this notion from Zach that they're going to play some preseason ball, and quite a bit of it. You're going to see Burrow in the preseason. Here is Burrow on that decision of the starters playing in the preseason.
Yeah, I'm excited for the chance to get better. Those are valuable reps that we haven't had in the past for good reason, but I think we're making the right decision this year, and I think that's going to benefit us in the long run.
And here is why Joe wants to play in the preseason.
For me, you can practice full speed against the defense all you want, but you're not getting hit. You're not quite feeling that, and the D-line is stopping. Free runners are stopping a couple yards before they get to you. So number one, you can work on scrambling a little bit, and you get that timing of how quickly you actually have to get the ball out of your hands in those preseason games, whereas in training camp, you try to simulate that as best as you can, but it's not quite the same.
It's interesting how the two Ohio teams are going about it entirely differently in the preseason. I think the Browns, we'll talk about them at 9:45, but the Browns are doing 2 joint practices. They're doing 2 of them. They're doing one in Carolina, and they're doing one in Philly. The Bengals, to my knowledge, are not. They aren't doing any of that. So they're going to put it all on those preseason games, and they're not going to do the joint practices. In my experience, the joint practices is where the best work is done, so I'm a little surprised that the Bengals aren't doing that, but maybe they're just going to put it into those preseason games.
That seems to be the direction that they're going into, because the one thing that I think we've said and everybody else that covers the NFL says the Bengals can't afford another slow start to begin the season. Now, it helps kind of their schedule to begin things. I think they've got the Colts and the Browns in the first 3 weeks, but those important reps in the preseason. And then I think just the travel, it felt like Zach Taylor had addressed the reasons just why they didn't feel like going. And part of it was like, well, because they're a cheap organization. And you've got to, if you want to send them to do joint practices, you have to pay to feed them, house them, send them.
That could be truth to that. I mean, there could be, yeah.
Speaking of the Bengals, they have to get off to a hot start in those first 2 weeks because you got the Browns and the Jaguars. But then it goes Vikings, Broncos, Lions, Packers, Steelers. So you've got 6 bangers in a row after those first 2. So they definitely cannot afford a New England at the start of the season this year.
I got news for you. I don't think you're going to get like a 13-game winner out of the AFC North. The crossover games are too tough. The division's too tough. I think you could have a situation where 3 of them are over 500. I think that's in play. But I don't think you're going to have Baltimore, and Baltimore's a prohibitive favorite. I don't think you're going to have Baltimore running away with that division. I just think that the wins and losses are going to be tough. The wins are going to be tough to come by because the crossover, the teams that you have to play, you're playing the NFC North. It's just a full day. And so that's a lot of games where it's just survive and advance stuff. So I think everything is going to matter. And I like the idea of getting those guys. But look, we're fans of interesting. So Burrow's going to play some preseason games. Well, I'm going to watch when Joe Burrow plays some preseason games. Big Ten Media Days in Vegas. Is it possible that I've become a fan of James Franklin? We'll explain in 2 minutes. Bishop and Friends, right here on The Fan.
We expect our information in real time. U.S. Med carries continuous glucose monitors, which provide real-time readings of blood glucose levels. U.S. Med is an approved provider for Medicare and over 500 private insurers. So call 888-665-0696 today for a free insurance and Medicare benefits check as easy as, that's 888-665-0696.
A SoFi personal loan is here to help you achieve something once thought impossible, overcoming high-interest credit card debt. Walk the tightrope of your finances with one low, fixed-rate monthly payment, no fees required, and as soon as the same-day funding. That's right. Pull off your own debt-defying stunt with a SoFi personal loan. Visit SoFi.com/trick to learn more. Loans originated by SoFi Bank, N.A., member FDIC. Terms and conditions apply. NMLS 696891.
CME wants to beat your bike or boat loan rate by 1.5% APR. Enjoy no payments for 90 days, low rates, and terms up to 84 months. Take the summer off and ride easy with CME. Terms and conditions apply. Minimum floor rate of 6.25% APR. Federally insured by NCUA. Visit CMEFCU.org for additional details.
Hi, I'm Rick Germain, and at Toyota West, we're having our biggest pre-owned sales event of the year. With over 600 new and pre-owned vehicles, Toyota West at I-270 and Georgesville Road has the car you're searching for. And during our Go Forth sales event, every pre-owned vehicle is discounted and comes with a 72-hour exchange policy plus a 3-month warranty. At Toyota West, you don't have to choose between a great experience and a great price. We deliver both. Come see us at the Germain Auto Mall on Georgesville Road or get started today at ToyotaWest.com.
Skyline is introducing a new chicken chili. Come get that world-famous Skyline flavor you love with a new protein option. Try the new Skyline chicken chili on Waze, Coney's, and all your Skyline favorites. At Columbus Skyline locations only while supplies last.
Bishop and Friends is sponsored by Diamond Seller, your true jeweler for over 75 years. The Fan, Ohio sports destination.
What's up?
What's up, man? What's up with you?
Sponsored by Newman Roofing. For all your roofing, gutter, or siding needs, call Newman Roofing today at 614-NEW-ROOF or visit online at newmanroofing.com.
One of the things that I say in regard to Penn State is I think sometimes I want to hold them to a higher standard than they do themselves. That they seem to be perfectly fine with what they've been. And I think some of that comes from they have the muscle memory of what happened in the middle of the back end of Paterno's time there. I'm not even talking about the Sandusky stuff. That was its own thing that they have the mental reps from getting through that. I'm talking about when he fell off a cliff in the early 2000s and how that program fell quickly. And so I think because of that, they're much more tolerant / appreciative of James Franklin because he has stabilized it. And they're not a disaster. They're not on the Ohio State, Michigan level, but they're a rung below it, and that's not a bad world to live in. My view of them is that they should aspire to be what Ohio State and Michigan are, and I see no reason why they aren't that. That's the way I view them. This is the year, if there is ever a year for them to be that, it is this year. One of the guys we're critical of a lot is James Franklin. His approach in big games is oftentimes incredibly conservative. Incredibly so. There was a start 2 years ago for Drew Aller against Ohio State where I don't think he threw it in the air more than 7 yards downfield. I mean, he goes conservative and he hopes for the best. And so it's not the best brand of football to watch. And we've been pretty critical of that through the years. But baby, did he win me back. So here is James Franklin in Vegas. We spent much of yesterday's show going, what exactly are we doing in Las Vegas? Why are we there? Why is the Big Ten doing all of this? Does Tony Petitti represent Ohio State and Michigan and Oregon and Penn State at all? Well, here's James Franklin on Big Ten Media Days in Vegas.
A lot of our beat writers did not come to this because they couldn't afford to get out here. And the majority of our teams are near Chicago, where this used to always be. The majority of our teams are near Indianapolis, where this used to be. And it creates a different environment. I walk around the lobby. I don't see any signage. I don't see anything for the Big Ten. I don't see people getting autographs. I don't see it's a different vibe and it's a different feeling. I think that other conference, when they have their meetings, there's essentially a press conference every single day at the end of the meetings. It keeps people talking about that conference at a time of the year and makes them relevant. We're not doing that. We need to be talking about the Big Ten and our programs and the things that we have done and making it as accessible to everybody as we possibly can and connecting with the fans. And don't misinterpret what I'm saying. I think Vegas is a special place, and I think they run events as well as anybody. But it's a different feeling. It's a different feeling. And I've been at those other places where people are putting up babies for you to autograph and stuff. It's different. So I think there's still some things that we got to be strategic and smart about that are going to put our conference and our schools in the best position on a national level, in my opinion.
Did James Franklin and I just become best friends? Is that what happened?
Singing a similar tune. Although the babies thing was interesting.
the signing of the babies and all of that. I mean, Kiffin signed a baby. There's no doubt that he signed one. Saban has
has not signed a baby.
Orgeron would sign a baby.
1,000%.
Would sign a baby. Leach would have, God rest his soul, he would have signed a baby. I think Spurrier would have signed a baby when he was in that league.
I think Dan Lanning would.
Dan Lanning.
Give Dan Lanning one.
If there were any, he'd sign it.
Yeah.
Harbaugh for sure would sign a baby back in the day. But this is everything we've talked about. This is everything that we talked about yesterday. Yes. You remember this was about a month ago. We said, where would you host Big Ten Media Days that would be the equivalent of Destin or Birmingham, or this year they were in Atlanta. But even their spring meetings are in Destin. It's like, God, you can go to Mackinac, you could go someplace, you could go to Sandusky, you could go to someplace, there's that place in French Lick with the golf courses, you could go there. There's all sorts you go to Nemacolin, there's all sorts of places you could go to host something like this where the fans would have an opportunity. Everything he said is on point. I would bet anything that those availabilities for the majority of the teams in that league, that they happened in a closet. And I would say that and we got great content from Berm and Austin and Steph and everybody who's there. It's great stuff. It's incredible access, but it's access that could have happened just up the street. Mm-hmm. We didn't need to go to Vegas for it. We could have just done something at the Fawcett Center, and we would have been fine. Could have done it at the Woody, would have been fine. It was my hunch is that the vast majority, and we'll have Doug on tomorrow. He'll know for sure. But my hunch is that the vast majority of the people there were covering Ohio State.
Well, and I can tell you for a fact, James Franklin took 3 questions after his opening thing. He took 3 questions, and 2 of them were from Ohio State beat writers. One was Dan Hope. One was Steve Hellwagon. And then when Tony Petitti did his, I think 4 of the questions came from Ohio State beat writers.
So that's what I'm saying. This is a tricky league, man. It's a tricky league because not everybody wants the same things. And the more and more and I'm glad to hear Franklin talk like this. He should be talking like this. Sharon Moore should be talking like this. Dan Lanning should be talking like this. Lincoln Riley should be talking like this. Even if it's in front of 2 people, whatever the USC football beat is, they should be talking like this. Yes, this is a promotion. This is all entertainment dollars. It's how are you going to spend your time and how are you going to spend your money? And in sports right now, it's a fist fight to make sure that you spend it on the thing that you're doing. And the Big Ten doesn't do a good enough job of it. They don't.
I do, from Tony Petitti's former television executive standpoint, understand the Vegas thing. It's one of the entertainment capitals of the world, so they say. And I think you want to make this a big deal, but you haven't done enough work around it to make anybody give a rip.
No, you haven't. And it's too far of an outpost to do it. Here's okay, you want to do Vegas once? Okay, fine. Do it once. But you have to do those press conferences in the morning in the East. So if that means people got to get up and do a presser at 8 a.m. local, so it's on at 11 in the East, fine. Do it. Do that. But you can't have Ohio State players available at 6:30 at night on a Tuesday. That ain't it. That is not it. And so Franklin's right on all fronts. Now, how does he handle the thing I want to hear from Franklin and Lanning here. And here's why I wanted to hear from them. When you look at this league this year, these are the 2 you look at and you say, if ever there was a time for Penn State to do this, now's it. They've got the returning quarterback. They've got those running backs back. They invested. Their roster's good. Their defense is good. They got our guy Jim Knowles to run their defense. Like, they're set up. Penn State's set up to win the league. And Oregon, to me, is the long-term nemesis. They're going nowhere. As long as Lanning's there, they are going nowhere. Oregon's one of 20 most interesting. So perhaps I think I'll save the Lanning sound for that because he has a good thing on the Rose Bowl. We'll get to it at 11 o'clock. But let's hear from Franklin on how he's going to handle the higher expectations for that program this year.
Yeah, the way I would describe it is this, right? There's a ton of conversations that are happening nationally, right? And we embrace that, we've earned that, based on what we've been able to do and what we got coming back. There's a lot of people that are excited on a national level talking about us. But the reality is when it comes to the Lash football building or when it comes to local, these are always the expectations at Penn State. We had what a lot of people would consider a really good season last year. We were a game away from playing for the national championship, and you could actually make the argument a drive away for playing for the national championship. But it didn't feel that way. right? Because the expectations at Penn State are really high. So we embrace that. I came to Penn State understanding that, knowing that. Our players did as well. So I think the conversations that you're talking about nationally are happening, and we appreciate that, but it hasn't really changed close to home, and it hasn't changed internally in our program, because these are always our expectations.
I don't know.
Is
I
that
don't know if I buy
truth?
that. I don't think that's the real truth. I don't, because now he's not my best friend anymore, because I don't think that's true. I don't think it is. I mean, he doesn't want to play Ohio State and Michigan every year, so that kind of tells you a little bit of what the mindset is there. Their schedule this year, they've got Oregon in Happy Valley on September 27th. So Dante Moore is a month into being the starter at Oregon, if he indeed wins the job as most expect, and you get him there. And then they come here on November 1st. Other than that, the non-conference, it's Nevada, FIU, Villanova. So it's really manageable. The Big Ten slate is very manageable as well. So to me, if not now, when for Penn State? They should be. They were picked as the media favorite to win the league. They should be. That's the way that they should be viewed this year, and that's the standard they should be held to. But I really like Franklin's points on the Big Ten. The Big Ten's got to do better than what they did this week. My guess is that in on the West Coast, this happened in a closet with those 4 new teams. I think it happened on a closet. I don't think anybody in L.A. was there. My hunch is nobody from Portland was there, nobody from Seattle. I'm guessing there were some beat guys for the Ducks, obviously, would have some, maybe 1 or 2 guys from, not much, is my guess. And I think that was a pretty big failure for the Big Ten. The Browns dropped a new uniform, new helmet at least. We will get to that. You're going to hear from Myles Garrett as well, and some breaking news in the NFL on a guy that is near and dear to our heart that is not good. We'll get to all of that coming up next. Bishop and Friends right here on The Fan.
We're known for 3 things: games, conversation, and common man yelling about things only he cares about. The Fan, Ohio's sports destination.
Bobby Carpenter here for Germain Toyota of Columbus. Summer is the perfect time to gear up in a new truck from Germain Toyota of Columbus. Right now, drive home the 2025 Toyota Tundra with 1.99 APR for 72 months, or take command of the 2024 Toyota Tacoma, also just 1.99 APR for 72 months. Get power, performance, and unbeatable savings, all at Germain Toyota, located at 5711 Scarborough Boulevard on the corner of I-70 and Bryce Road. Shop online anytime at germaintoyota.net.
The Dublin Irish Festival, August 1st through 3rd in Dublin, Ohio. Voted 2025 USA Today Best Cultural Festival in the nation. This year promises 3 incredible days of Irish music, dance, food, and fun. Get your tickets at dublinirishfestival.org.
Lanny went to college and racked up huge debt.
A little bit over $100,000.
For a degree he couldn't use, now what?
I had a friend that went to my computer career.
They even helped him get hired immediately after graduation.
One of the things I love about IT is that you can work from anywhere you want.
You could become an IT pro in just months, including cybersecurity and the basics of AI with 0 experience at mycomputercareer.edu. My Computer Career, an elite CompTIA certification partner.
It worked for me, and I know it can work for you.
This is one student's experience. Individual results vary.
Boating season is finally here, and Buckeye Lake Marina is your go-to destination for all your on-the-water needs. With the largest inventory in Central Ohio, you can choose from top brands like Bennington, South Bay, Crown Line, and more. Buckeye Lake Marina has it all. Pontoon boats, luxury tri-toon boats, even merch. Open 7 days a week to serve you better. Find your next dream boat at Buckeye Lake Marina. Visit BuckeyeLakeMarina.com today for all your on-the-water needs. The good life, the lake life, starts at Buckeye Lake Marina.
Win big at El Dorado Scioto Downs, your Caesars Rewards hotspot. Play over 1,700 hot games. Sip craft brews at Brew Brothers. And dine at Guy Fieri's Trattoria with its famous 68-layer lasagna. Enjoy live music at Vail Bar and harness racing now through September. Experience nonstop thrills where rewards never stop.
Must be 21 plus to gamble. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Our double hung is as good as it gets. There's something really simple. It's called an interlock. We interlock our windows. The interlock is the absolute best way to alleviate air infiltration. With the interlock, it's harder to break into. When you interlock the sashes, it makes a better window. It's just a darn good window, and we're very proud of it.
Visit Rosati Windows and get 35% off all windows and doors by July 31st.
Master Grillers Unite. The grilling season never ends at Billiards Plus. Come see their best-in-class grills for yourself and check out Central Ohio's largest selection of pool tables, game furniture, and shuffleboard. Family-owned and operated. Billiards Plus on Dublin Center Drive in Dublin.
What's the best way to make sure you don't miss any of your favorite fan shows? Download the Fan app, silly.
Ah, damn it, I knew that.
App Store, Google Play, or just scream right at your phone. Psst, you can also listen to Buckeye games. Do it now.
Actual price will depend on product and subscription plan. Featured products are compounded drug products, which the FDA does not approve or verify for safety, effectiveness, or quality. Prescription products require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate. See website for details, restrictions, and important safety information.
Want a boost in and out of the bedroom? Hims has you covered. Introducing a new 2-in-1 approach to level up your game. Tadalafil for better bedroom performance and zinc for testosterone support. Put it all together and you've got what you need to turn things all the way up. Getting started is simple. Just go to hims.com/joy to start your free online visit. Through Hims, you can access ED treatments including pills, chews, and more. 100% online. No office visits, no pharmacy lines. Just fill out a simple intake form and a licensed medical provider will determine if treatment's right for you. If prescribed, it ships free and discreetly to your door. Find affordable treatment options at up to 95% less than brand names at hims.com/joy. That's hims.com/joy, hims.com/joy.
You found the one, now find the ring. Hi, it's Alex Johnson from the Diamond Cellar. On July 25th and 26th, Wedding Weekend is back with event-exclusive pricing for 2 days only. Celebrate with buy one, get one half off wedding bands, 20% off diamond anniversary bands, and 10% off handcrafted custom bridal. It's the perfect time to upgrade, personalize, or say yes for the first time. Join us July 25th and 26th on Selma Road or at Easton Town Center.
All your favorite fan shows are available when you want them.
Head to 971thefan.com and hit that subscribe button.
The Fan, Ohio sports destination. Distilled sports discussion served in light beer quantities. You're listening to Bishop and Friends.
Yeah, and some breaking news out of the NFL. Justin Fields, our guy, carted off Jets practice field with an apparent lower leg injury. He was tended to on the field, and then he got into the front of the cart and was carted off. So that is bad. And your heart breaks for him because it feels like everything that could go wrong has to the start of his career, and he was pretty jacked up to get this opportunity, and the Jets were jacked up to have him. They gave him 2 years, $40 million, and he's the starter. He doesn't have to compete for anything. He's got a lot of weapons around him, the familiarity with Garrett Wilson, and potentially, I mean, nothing official yet, but anytime you see carted off lower leg, never good.
So they're talking about this on Get Up right now, and Greeny looks like he's about to cry. But it says he was carted off of the field and then walked under his own power to wherever he needed to after that. But yeah, just a bummer for Fields and a guy that, I mean, this might be his last shot at a starting gig, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, they're showing the Jets quarterback room of Tyrod Taylor, Adrian Martinez, and Brady Cook.
Listen, I don't think Brady Cook, that wasn't a bad get for them. I know.
Yeah. When did they get him?
I believe, didn't they sign him this, because he was eligible for the draft. I think that he was an undrafted rookie, free agent, I believe.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, if Tyrod's there, then he would be the one with the job. You know, you start to think from the standpoint, and this is something, you know, we're going to do a little Browns conversation now. This is something that I think the Browns will monitor, not necessarily this exactly with the Jets, but this type of situation. If this were to pop up somewhere else around the league, especially a team that maybe considers themselves a contender, would that be a landing spot for one of the two veterans in Cleveland? Could one of them go to a spot like that? That, to me, would be something to monitor here as we keep going into camp a little bit. What did you guys think of the helmet?
Well, I have thoughts. It was fitting that they partnered with Dude Wipes on it. We talked about this earlier in the week. The jokes kind of wrote themselves. Like I turned into Man and Timmy, and they talked about the poop helmet. So you knew that was going to be the case. They honestly don't look bad when paired with the uniforms.
No, I think they look pretty good with the uniform because I got my hands on one. It's a matte brown that is so dark that it's almost really it's really close to black. And I did think that, so I was on set when they kind of unveiled it and got our first look at it, and I think that they were really smart to not put white in the stripe. I think that was smart. And I think paired with that uniform, it's okay. It's not bad. I think it's too bad they don't have a night game, because I think it'd look pretty decent at night and would kind of make the orange really pop. These aren't the uniforms they wore in the Baker era. They really haven't worn this look much, this all brown look. They haven't worn it much. But I do think paired with that, it's not bad. Bake, where are you?
So, yeah, I don't think it's terrible. I'm not a fan of monochrome uniforms where it's all one color. Like, I would like to see maybe an orange jersey with this. I don't know, or the orange pants with this, something. But listen, the fact of the matter is, there's only so much you can do with the Cleveland Browns helmets, right? There's only there's not a lot of different things. There's not a lot of throwbacks with the Browns. So all of these in a one-off to me are just fine, and I think they're going to wear this, and it's going to be okay, and you're not going to think twice about it.
Yeah, we saw. Go ahead, Bake.
3 games this season is what they said they'd be wearing these in.
Yeah. Okay, that's a little much. But
when they did the unveiling yesterday on the barge on Lake Erie, and a camera person fell in, how is that person doing?
So I think, I don't have this. This isn't scores, but I think that was an influencer.
Oh, the thing was staged.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think that was an influencer who fell in. Now, I don't know who it is, but I think that's what that is. So I think that what they were looking for was viral moment, and it feels like maybe they got it a little. I don't know.
Dylan said this morning on T-Bone and Tyvis that that's a kid that played football at Olentangy High School. And I believe his name is Ross Smith, and he's become some kind of social media influencer.
Oh, really?
And that's who the person was there.
Yeah, you're going to want to make sure that Lake Erie's deep enough in that part of the lake.
Yeah, there's nothing under 6 figures that would get me to jump in that. So, they got the viral moment, but...
Yeah. So they had their first practice yesterday. It was, if you've been paying attention here, I think I've laid this out for you about as plainly as possible. Kenny Pickett got almost all of the reps with the ones in 11-on-11. Dylan Gabriel went second with the twos, and then Shador went third. Joe Flacco really didn't get any reps in 11-on-11, and I think that is something that we saw in camp, in mini camp, and I think it's something that you'll see continuing in training camp. That the feeling up there is Kenny Pickett is going to be given every opportunity to start the opener, and that now this is me talking. I would really want to see substantial games played by both of the two rookies. So how do I define success for this team this year? I think if I can figure out if I have a quarterback or not with Shador or Dylan, that to me is the answer to that equation. Because really, even Pickett can't. It would take some real salary cap gymnastics. Let's say best case scenario, Pickett turns into Sam Darnold. It would take some pretty wild salary cap gymnastics to be able to get him signed on a contract similar to the one that Darnold just signed. I don't know if they could do it. So the best case scenario there would be you maybe trade him for a 3rd-round pick is probably the hope in that scenario. So truly, if you were looking for some sort of a win this year for them, it's got to be one of the two rookies. Has got to be the way that it is. Myles Garrett was available yesterday. He weighed in on the quarterback situation. Here's what he had to say.
That's got nothing to do with me. That's all up to Kevin. And whoever he decides is the best fit for what we're trying to do offensively. Game one, we're gonna rock beside, and I think all of these guys are very capable, and we have confidence, all of them. But the final decision's on Kevin, and we'll roll with that.
I think that they are going to be, if they're going to have success, the defense is going to have to be a top 5 defense in the league. And I think the other thing that was going to be a real part of that was going to be Quinshon Judkins. And I think what happened to him off the field is a massive body blow for them. Massive. And that's a big loss. And who knows what happens there, and who knows with the legal system how that plays out. But that's something that nobody saw coming, and that was a shocking one for sure. So that's got to be their path for success, though. It's going to be the defense being a top 5 defense, and then grinding out games winning games in the teens and the low 20s because offensively there just isn't the firepower that is needed to compete in the AFC North. We'll open up that mailbag coming up next, second hour of the program. Paul Finebaum at 10:30, Bishop and Friends, right here on The Fan.
We've been your Jackets flagship station since day one. All the goals, all the action, all the memories. Your home for the Columbus Blue Jackets, The Fan, Ohio sports destination.
At Kroger, you never compromise. You get high quality and low prices. Like you never compromise your meal with our spring salad mix that's guaranteed fresh. And you never compromise your budget with lower prices on over 1,000 items. Hand it to Kroger shoppers. You never compromise. Kroger. Fresh for everyone.
You can save big on 12 packs of Coca-Cola, Pepsi, or 7-Up. Select varieties or buy 2, get 2 free with your card. Limit 8. Kroger. Fresh for everyone.
This radio commercial was made to convince you to stop speeding. We can't use siren sound effects on the radio, so we'll use other equally jarring sound effects to get your attention. Like telling you that whether you drive a little over the speed limit or a lot, you can crash just the same. You could hurt yourself or worse, others.
I'm at the scene of the collision.
And the damage you cause will be beyond repair. See, we didn't have to use crash or siren sounds after all. Speeding catches up with you. Brought to you by NHTSA.
Hey, what's up? It's T-Bone for Window Nation. Did you know their co-founders are Ohio natives? Yeah. Window Nation has been replacing windows in the Columbus region for over 15 years. Not only does Window Nation know what windows work best for Ohio homeowners like you, they're also local to the area. And right now, you can take advantage of Window Nation's biggest sale of the year. Get 50% off all window styles, plus 0 interest for 5 whole years. You heard that right. With Window Nation, you won't pay any interest until 2030. Plus, they'll install your new windows in 1 day or less, so you can get back to your daily routine right away. Personally, I wouldn't procrastinate. You don't want to wait on this deal. It's a trustworthy company like Window Nation, getting your windows in 1 day or less. 50% off all window styles now, plus 0 interest until 2030 with Window Nation. Call them up, 866-90NATION, or visit windownation.com to get your free quote on replacement windows. 866-90NATION or windownation.com. And tell them T-Bone sent you.
1-877 Cars for Kids. KARS Cars for Kids.
Ready to get rid of that old car? Donate it to Cars for Kids. Call 1-877 for Kids to reach a friendly live agent. Donation's super easy, and your car can be picked up as soon as tomorrow. Call us now, 1-877 for Kids.
1-877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today.
Did you know you can donate real estate too?
Road trip!
This summer at Tire Discounters, your tires are your passport to savings, because you're driving to Paris,
Texas,
then it's off to Rome,
Georgia,
and you'll be kissing the Blarney Stone in Dublin,
Ohio!
Right now, save up to $434 when you buy 4 tires, and that includes a free alignment and oil change. Stop at Tire Discounters before you see the world.
Breaking news, and this one is almost unbelievable.
Yeah, it's all about new customers at Bet365 because they get $150 in bonus bets when they bet $5, win or lose. And even better, bonus bets can be used on the spread, totals, and player props.
There you have it. Bet $5 to get $150 in bonus bets, win or lose. And see why it's never ordinary at Bet365. 21 plus only. Must be physically located in Ohio. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. TNCs apply. Available in app only.
Get cash for clunkers during the Honda Summer Event at Lindsay Honda.
Listen up, Columbus. Cash for clunkers is big money towards your next ride.
Up to $3,500 minimum for your trade.
Use it for the down payment, negative equity, or keep the cash.
Lease a new 2025 HR-V two-wheel drive LX or 2026 Civic four-door LX for just $299 a month. 0 cash down. Just bring us your clunker. Shop Lindsay Honda, the big Honda store now. For details, visit lindsayhonda.com.
Evan Cohen here. According to a recent ZipRecruiter survey, 76% of employers plan to expand headcount for 2025. If you're one of these employers, add ZipRecruiter's latest feature, Zip Intro, to your hiring plan. It does most of the work for you, so you save time. Just pick a time, and Zip Intro finds and schedules qualified candidates for you. You can even meet with great people on back-to-back video calls as soon as the next day. Try it for free at ZipRecruiter.com/USL. That's ZipRecruiter.com/USL. Evan Cohen here. Whether you're locking in your home run picks or riding with your favorite golfers this summer, ESPN Bet is your sports book for all the action. Go from checking stats on your favorite teams and players to placing bets in just a few taps. Plus, new customers can get $100 in bonus bets when you make your first $10 wager. Download the ESPN Bet app and sign up with promo code USL to get started today. Must be 21 plus. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Terms and conditions apply. See app for details. Offer not available in New York.
Broadcasting from the Lindsay Honda Studios.
Honda makes the cars. Lindsay makes the difference. Visit lindsayhonda.com.
WBNS-FM, HD1 Columbus. The Fan. Sports Center.
Good morning. I'm Eric Reeser. We've got day baseball in the Arena District. The Columbus Clippers host the Buffalo Bisons today at 12:05. John Kenzie Noel walked off on Buffalo last night with a 2-run home run to give the Clippers a 6-4 win and snap a 3-game losing streak. In the majors, the Reds put a halt to a similar 3-game slide. Nick Lodolo threw a complete game against the Nationals Wednesday afternoon, surrendering 4 hits over 9 innings of work as Cincinnati beat Washington 4-0. Reds have the day off. They'll begin a 6-game homestand on Friday, hosting the Tampa Bay Rays. In Cleveland last night, Stephen Kwan's go-ahead single in the 8th powered the Guardians to a 3-2 win over the Orioles. The win puts Cleveland 1 game above 500 at 51-50. Guardians look to break out the brooms on the Orioles today at 1:10. And NFL training camps continue today. Jets quarterback Justin Fields left practice earlier this morning on a cart after suffering a reported non-contact injury. Breaking sports news when it happens on The Fan, Ohio sports destination.
Our top men are working on everything except this show. This is Bishop and Friends.
All right, second hour here on a Thursday. Paul Finebaum dropping by in 29 minutes. Time now to open up that mailbag.
Our comment box is always open. Any feedback is mostly appreciated.
The mail never stops. It just keeps coming and coming and coming. There's never a let up. It's relentless. Every day it piles up more and more and more. And you got to get it up. And the more you get out, the more it keeps coming in. Again.
Bishop and Friends present emails.
All right, we're going to start with Bill/William. The subject, he did it over 2 emails. So the first one, the subject is Texas game. The second one, the subject is reality near. But they were sent in a pretty short amount of time, and they feel like they're connected. So, all right. Texas game. Yes, it does matter. With 3 other losses likely on the schedule may mean making the playoffs or not. 3 additional losses. He continues, Ohio State football in 25 is going to be 8-4. Texas, Penn State, Illinois, and of course Michigan.
No,
we take too seriously. They don't. They too tough mentally than OSU personnel all around. No playoff spot. Poor quarterback play because Day doesn't give reps to his backup quarterbacks when the game is in hand. Weakness on his long while now. You'll have lots to blank about soon.
How much Bo Schembechler memorabilia is in that person's computer room?
Lots.
Mm-hmm.
Was that Heron 78 from the YouTube chat?
I've seen that act every day on this program.
Trolls.
I just would say this. The Texas game matters a great deal, but not in the traditional sense. The loser of the game is in no way, because of a 12-team playoff, eliminated from anything. It's not going to have that type of impact. In the video game, and I keep going back to it because it's a nice little kind of view of what it could look like. When you lose that game, and when I played with Ohio State, I did lose to Texas, and I dropped to 7th. That's it. So by the time I got to the playoff, I didn't lose again, and I was the 1 seed. So that's the reality here. Here's where the Texas game matters tremendously. Perception, recruiting, who's got next, all of those things. All of that matters a great deal. But the win or loss in that game doesn't eliminate you from anything. And that's why when I hear these coaches talk about how they shouldn't play these games anymore. Yes, you should. You should play them now more than ever because you're fine. These aren't as damaging as they used to be. There was a time if you lost a game, you needed a lot of help to get back to a BCS. When it was a 2-teamer, the BCS championship game, you needed help. You don't anymore.
I just hate the idea, like with what Kirk Cignetti said yesterday, how they're going to take the SEC scheduling approach. It's like, no, do less of that, especially in an era where you need money. Like, you think those new, like, private boxes at Ohio Stadium with the wide-ass seats on top are going to be filled if people are having to shell out $5-6 to watch them play Grambling and Ohio University, sorry to my Bobcats? Like, you need to schedule these games because that's what generates the kind of revenue you are hoping to bring in with those wide-ass seats.
Yeah. And by the way, like, all of the stones thrown at the SEC, most of those schools, certainly the ones that are at the top of that league, they usually play somebody major in the non-conference. LSU's playing Clemson. Alabama's playing Florida State. We're playing Alabama. Texas is playing us. Like, Georgia has played those type of games before. Florida's played those type of games. They usually play one of those two. And so I think it more than evens out in terms of the way that it all shakes out. This one from Greg, the loyal Greg. If the Big Ten were restaurants, good morning, fellas. I'd like to pose a question to you to challenge you, fellas. Could you arrange the Big Ten teams by a restaurant? My thoughts were The Ohio State University is a Jeff Ruby Steakhouse. That team up north is Steak and Shake, but with heavy health department issues and warnings on the menu. Wisconsin is Applebee's. Purdue is White Castle. Penn State is a mom and pop. That one I think he nails. With odd hours like 3 to 7, but closed on Thursday. I don't do a comparison for Indiana, Rutgers, UCLA, Washington, or Maryland. I'm curious to hear your comments in comparison. Thanks, and go Bucks.
I'm going to say Nebraska is Shoney's.
That's perfect.
Once great, now forgotten.
Perfect. That is maybe...
Or Frisch's Big Boy.
We just mic drop there with Reese.
Stop. Rothman and Ice is next. We're out of here. There's no more show after. You nailed it. That's Shoney's. I haven't heard anybody talk about Shoney's in forever.
And the last time Nebraska was nationally relevant. Great breakfast buffet, though.
Yeah, for sure. So Oregon would be like Nobu, I suppose, like some sort of a new sushi experience. That feels like maybe what that would be. Michigan is not Steak and Shake. They would certainly, I mean, I understand what you're going for. That Michigan is certainly a steakhouse. It's a steakhouse. I think the rest of your stuff applies, though, with heavy health department issues and warnings. On that, to me, is Michigan. Is very, very haughty-toddy, all of that. But also, we got big problems going on in this kitchen right now. We got listeria. We got all sorts of things that are happening in that kitchen. I like Wisconsin as Applebee's. I think that's pretty good. Purdue is White Cap. The Penn State mom and pop one slayed me because here's the other part of that I don't know that Greg even realizes this. My hunch is he doesn't. In the old days when you go to Penn State, their media meal was provided by like Pennsylvania farmers. So it was like home cooked. So you got like home-cooked donuts, like homemade donuts, like that type of stuff. It wasn't a chain that just dropped food off. Like they had a pretty, like you get like a ham with green beans and stuff. Like that was the way that I don't know if they still do it that way, but that's the way that they used to do it the last time I was at a game over there. Good job to you, Greg. Nick this is a long one from Nick. It's about sports psychology, and it's in relationship to Scotty winning at the Open and coming off of some of his comments that he made earlier in the week. I think these two paragraphs kind of sum it up. Golf doesn't really have patterns. It's very psychological. Yet Tiger Woods' Sunday Red, that was a pattern. I haven't checked stats, no need to, because I witnessed it. Sunday Red Tiger got into the heads of his opponents. Golf is wonderful because you're not playing against anyone. You're not even playing the course. You're playing against yourself. It's your head. Can you keep your mental balance? The course and the players can stir that, and we all know that Earl raised Tiger. So Tiger wearing Sunday Red was kind of his cool-ass, unique parasite that got into the heads of his opponents. Yes, he was dominant, but yes, others collapsed. Is Live Golf helping Scotty right now? We've never had anything like Live before. Guys play on teams, 3-day tournaments, wearing shorts, listening to music. Then those guys go back to the PGA majors and aren't winning them. Yes, there are some still competing, but we aren't seeing the same consistent patterns of names. Is Live Golf the parasite is actually aiding those who have stayed loyal to the tour? Even though Live golfers are making big money, how are they doing when they go back to the majors? I bring this up because Scheffler is about to make a Tiger-esque run. Now, Tiger was straight up dominant. He didn't need a parasite like Liv. He was the parasite. He has the thing that got into people's heads. I think it's pretty smart. He talks about the psychology of sports. Yeah, I do think that Liv is not preparing those guys, and I think from Scotty's perspective, he's the one that they're all viewing. I mean, you heard Rory's comments about him. I mean, he was inevitable this weekend, so I think that's part of it.
Yeah, the idea of most intimidating sports presence, I would say it's Tiger on Sunday in red. Jordan, Game 6, Game 7. That's about all I got. You know, Ali in his prime. Tyson, certainly.
Yeah.
When he just had that blank stare on his face and you knew someone was going down.
Tyson walking to the ring with a towel with a hole cut out of it instead of a robe, like a burlap sack. That was a scene, man. That was a scene. And you're right on the Tiger Sunday red. Like, having seen him play like the final round at Muirfield when he's the leader or around the leader and the inevitability of, well, he's going to win. There was, I mean, it was awesome when he walked onto the course in those days. It still is. I mean, when you do see him, it still has that, but it was really hard to wrap your head around. LeBron has that, I think. He definitely had that at times when you'd see him walk in, you're like, okay, we're going here. Kobe for sure. I've seen him play a couple of times, and he had that to him.
I wonder if you get that a little bit with Steph when he's hitting half quarters like crazy and all of that, and he's walking off the court and throwing one all the way. I will argue a little bit on the Scotty thing that Tiger is still having an effect in what we're seeing with Scotty now, because I don't know how many guys the Tiger has raised the money and the purses so much that guys, I don't know how much they're playing for anymore because, well, we're set off financially now. I don't have to win this tournament because I won 2 weeks ago, and I'm good now for the rest of my life. So I think I would say a little bit we're still seeing Tiger have an effect in what's going on right now with Scotty, because Scotty's the only one that just seems to not let anything faze him.
He's the only one that appears to really love the process of it, which I think is what Nick's getting to too, right? Is just this routine, the process, the psychological, doing the same thing over and over again. Scotty has that. I mean, his process is pretty unbeatable at this point. I do think that you're onto something, because it's not just the amount that these guys are making on tour, but when the live guys come over, what's their pressure to win? There's none. Like, what does it matter to Koepka? The best example of this is Dustin Johnson, who's done nothing. Nothing. So, I think it's. There's no question that it's really hurt the game, that the live side of it. That those guys are just that tour does not prepare them, except for Bryson, who's how he is mentally and is able to kind of do it. It does not prepare them for the majors. I think we've seen that now with several years of it. All right, coming up next, we'll do a little higher or lower NFL training camp, pre-training camp power ranking coming your way next. Bishop and Friends, right here on The Fan.
We know everything about you. We know you love the Buckeyes. We know you love the Jackets. We know you're wearing a red shirt. Just freak the hell out of someone. The Fan.
Call the folks at Buckeye, night or day.
My AC stopped working. Your competition says it's fried. When I saw their cost to replace it, I could have just died.
We can give a second opinion, give you options and advice. We'll strive to earn your trust and make you a client for life. Get a free second opinion, replace or repair. Call 614-683-9911. Call the folks at Buckeye, night or day.
Lanny went to college and racked up huge debt.
A little bit over $100,000.
For a degree he couldn't use? Now what?
I had a friend that went to my computer career.
They even helped him get hired immediately after graduation.
One of the things I love about IT is that you can work from anywhere you want.
You could become an IT pro in just months, including cybersecurity and the basics of AI with zero experience at mycomputercareer.edu. My Computer Career, an elite CompTIA certification partner.
It worked for me, and I know it can work for you.
This is one student's experience. Individual results vary.
The sun is out and the savings are on at Coghlan Kia, Central Ohio's largest volume Kia dealer. Take up to $7,000 off MSRP on any new Kia EV in stock, or get up to $3,000 off MSRP plus 0% financing for 60 months. Visit CoghlanKia.com.
Largest Kia dealer based on current ground stock at all 4 Coghlan Kia locations. 0% for 60 months equals $1,667 per 1,000 finance. All manufacturer incentives to dealer. Prior sales excluded. Dealer financing required. Residency restrictions may apply. See dealer for details. And 7/31/25.
Save a good deal more with hot deals on Meyer brand must-haves, including new breakfast favorites all season long. Meyer brand syrup, pancake mix, and instant oatmeal are all just $1.79 each. Plus, students will enjoy the well-packed Backpack Good Life with back-to-school supplies for $1 or less, including Meyer brand 24-count crayons, Meyer brand 70-sheet notebooks, and Crayola Classic Colors markers. Shopping for breakfast essentials and back-to-school supplies is a good deal better at Meyer. Exclusions apply. See all deals in the Meyer app.
Thinking about buying your first home? Now, with Third Federal, you can buy your first home and pay no PMI. Hi, I'm Mark Stefanski, Chairman and CEO of Third Federal. Private mortgage insurance, or PMI, can cost thousands of dollars over the life of your loan. And you may not realize PMI doesn't protect you. It only protects the lender in case of default. But at Third Federal, you can buy a home with just 5% down and no PMI. Plus, first-time home buyers get $750 off a closing cost. So if you're thinking about buying your first home, go for it and visit thirdfederal.com.
Even before you find a home, lock in 6.44%, APR 6.47% on a 30-year fixed-rate purchase mortgage. Visit thirdfederal.com or call 1-800-3rd-FED today. APR reflects 15% down for $350,000 loan amount. Rate requires automatic payment program and is subject to change. Restrictions apply. See conditions for closing cost coupon at thirdfederal.com/FTHB. Equal housing lender.
Austin and Berm are back with a new daily podcast, The Ultimate OSU Football Insiders. You know, it's refreshing to have some smart people working here from time to time.
The Beat with Austin and Berm on the 10 TV Plus app.
Subscribe today.
You can stream the game on your phone while you're gardening. You can stream it while you walk the dog. You can stream it at a trampoline park. You can even stream it at a monster truck rally. But the second you get behind the wheel, the game's over. Remember, Ohio, phones down. It's the law.
This radio commercial was made to convince you to stop speeding. We can't use law enforcement siren sound effects on the radio, so we'll use other equally jarring sound effects to get your attention, like telling you if you get a speeding ticket, it doesn't end there. You have to pay expensive fines. You can't go to your friend's wedding because that also costs money. And your insurance rates could increase. See, we didn't have to use law enforcement sirens after all. Getting a speeding ticket has consequences. Sooner or later, speeding catches up with you. Brought to you by NHTSA.
Fan weather.
From the Logan AC and Heat Services Weather Center.
A heat alert is in place for today. Our temperature's in the low 90s, but with that humidity, the feels like will be into the triple digits, so make sure you're taking breaks in the shade and drinking plenty of fluid. For tonight, mostly clear skies with chances of showers and thunderstorms popping up as we go overnight into Friday morning. It'll be warm tonight with lows down into the upper 70s. For the Fan, I'm meteorologist Meredith Garfalo with your 10 Weather Impact forecast.
Common Man, radio veteran, has a large hemorrhoid. Timmy Hall, a good, clean boy, moonlights as man's hemorrhoid. Common Man and Timmy.
Weekdays at 3.
The Fan. We'll read your emails on the air, but we won't tell you where to send them. Hey, we're not doing all the work for you. This is Bishop and Friends.
And we are proudly sponsored and brought to you by our great friends at Diamond Cellar, your true jeweler for over 78 years. Wedding weekends start tomorrow. Diamond Cellar, Easton Sawmill. Check them out. Time for a little higher or lower. Go ahead, Reese.
Bishop and Friends present Higher or Lower.
Sponsored by the Waterworks. Call the Waterworks and Header Heating and Cooling today at 614-232-2222 or visit online at thewaterworks.com.
Oh, baby.
As of that imaging, all 32 NFL teams have begun training camp. Their athletics, Josh Kendall, on Tuesday posted his pre-training camp power rankings. I think there were like 3 teams that hadn't begun as of Tuesday. I think they started Wednesday, but
yeah,
he's got all 32 ranked in this thing. We'll start with number 1, the Philadelphia Eagles, who he says from his last ranking of 1 stayed. At number 2, the Baltimore Ravens, who jumped from 4 to number 2 in his pre-training camp power rankings. Higher or lower for Baltimore there?
Look, you can quibble with them versus... Let's do this. Whatever is near and dear to either of your hearts, if you were to bet it on either Kansas City or Baltimore in an AFC championship game, who would you put the wager on?
That football wizard.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm still going Kansas City.
Right. So that's why the 4 teams he's got in the top 4 are the 4 best. Those are the 4. And then it's up for debate in terms of where you want to go from 5 to like 13. A lot of those are kind of similar, but these are the correct 4. So he's got Baltimore 2, Buffalo 3, and then Kansas City 4. My thing is, if your life's on the line, and if his life was on the line, he would take Kansas City over Baltimore. So to me, Kansas City should be 2, and then Baltimore, and then Buffalo. That's probably the way that I would do it. But I also think Baltimore's a little bit like Penn State. Like, if not now, when? Like, they have like, how many more years of Derrick Henry do they have at this level? All of it. So I think Baltimore has more pressure than anybody in the sport this season. So I'm fine with them in the top 4. I just think I would probably have Kansas City 2.
At number 5 on this list is a team that released new throwbacks and has a brand new locker room, the Green Bay Packers. At 6, the Washington Commanders. At 7, the Detroit Lions. 8, the Houston Texans. 9, the Rams. At 10, the Minnesota Vikings. Higher or lower for the Vikings at 10?
Wow, they got a lot. It's too high for... I haven't seen J.J. McCarthy do anything. Not since he left Michigan. So I can't have them sitting at number 10 on a power ranking when I haven't seen their quarterback play. So Minnesota's got to be lower. I think this is a little too... I think it's a little too high for Green Bay. I think it's a little bit of disrespect for Detroit. I'm very curious. Washington basically had last year, they had more success, went all the way to the NFC Championship game, but they basically had the same season that Houston had the year before. So Houston kind of fell back a little bit last year and didn't take that big step. Will Washington take that step? Speaking of uniforms, I love what they did with the ones that they're going to wear that are, look just like what they wore when they were the Redskins. So I think I would have Detroit a little higher, Green Bay a little lower, and the other one in this top that I think I'm not all the way ready on Houston yet either. CJ definitely took a step back last year. I think the Rams could be a sneaky NFC let's go win the Super Bowl squad. They drafted really well on the defensive line last year. Jared Verse was incredible. They also had a Devontae Adams, who I think's got a little more in the tank than people realize. And I think Puka Nacua is probably a top 10 receiver. They got a lot of weapons. I like that Rams team. I think I'd have the Rams a little higher than both Green Bay and maybe right there with Washington behind Detroit.
So I do think the Vikings probably have to be a little lower since that was the question. It is atrocious to me, absolutely atrocious, that he has the Detroit Lions at 7 and he has the Green Bay Packers ahead of them. Like, that makes no sense to me at all. The Packers are a fine team. They had a great year last year. This has been a couple years now with this Lions team, and they've only gotten better. Like, they haven't lost anyone here. Aiden Hutchinson's coming back, hopefully healthy for them. This Lions team, like, I understand your grouping as the top 4. I get that, and I think that's correct. But I think you can have a top 5 with the Lions thrown in there, because I'm not so sure the Lions aren't as good or better than the Buffalo Bills. I think they're right there neck and neck. So that's crazy to me that you would have Green Bay and Washington over them.
They're that talented. I think what this is a reflection of is no Ben Johnson, no Aaron Glenn.
And that's fair.
I think those two coordinators, especially Johnson offensively, can you play to that level offensively? Because they were, you're right, on talent, the roster, that's a top 5 for sure. But that's a massive thing to try to figure out, is to keep that offense the same with the new coordinator.
Throwing passes to Dan Panay Sewell. At 11, again, this is the Athletics pre-training camp power rankings for all 32 NFL teams. At 11, Los Angeles Chargers. At 12, the Cincinnati Bengals. Higher or lower for Cincinnati at 12?
I think this is kind of sweet spot for Cincinnati. This is kind of where they are. It's interesting. Burrow with Cincinnati is I kind of think of like Marino with the Dolphins, like just outscore people. Just hope we can outscore people, because defensively they're just an utter mess. and they'll outscore a lot of teams. But I think this is kind of the sweet spot for Cincinnati. I think that's the right spot for the Chargers as well. That feels like something that's ready to go. That Chargers situation, like the way they've drafted and everything, to me they feel like they're kind of ready to go. But I think that's about right for Cincinnati.
Yeah, I think that's probably pretty close to Cincinnati. I think some of the teams around them, Bo, you and I disagree big time on the Chargers. I'm not there. I'm not a Justin Herbert guy. I never have been.
That's right.
I think he's just a lot of flash and no substance, and he's great for your fantasy team, but not for your team on the field. And I'm not there with the Chargers. I would have them lower, but I think this is right about the sweet spot for the Bengals. They could possibly go a little higher if there wasn't all this question with Trey Hendrickson and Shamar Stewart, but I think right now it's right there.
Do you know how many times the Cincinnati Bengals lost while scoring over 30 points last year?
It's a whole bunch.
I mean, they scored 38 and lost to Pittsburgh in December. They scored 34 and lost to Baltimore in November. They scored 38 again against Baltimore and lost. They scored 33 and lost to Washington.
I remember watching that game.
They did this last year, right? They did it. Like this, we're going to outscore people. The amount of losses, they had in their losses, the one anomaly is New England, but they scored 25 in a loss to Kansas City, 33 in a loss to Washington, and then I met 17. The only one where they were really kind of held down was Philly beat them 37-17. That's it. Everything else, they scored points in bunches and lost a lot despite it.
At 12, again, like I said, the Bengals. At 13, the Steelers. 14, the Broncos. 15, the 49ers. 16, the Buccaneers. Tampa Bay, you say?
It's San Francisco, too.
San Francisco at 15.
They'll bounce back. Yeah.
At 17, the Dallas Cowboys. At 18, the Seahawks. 19, the Raiders. At 20, the Dolphins. Higher or lower for Miami at 20?
I could go a little lower for them. I think they take a step back. The one they have at 21, I think he's got way too low. I think Chicago's bounces back in a big way this year. I think they probably need to be a little bit more in the teens. So I'm a little higher on them than he is.
I feel like the Dolphins is pretty much about right, although he has the Raiders ahead of the Dolphins, and I don't think that's the case. I don't think the Raiders are the 19th best team in the NFL. I think that's way too high.
Yeah.
So at 21, like you said, the Bears. 22, the Cardinals. 23, the Patriots. 24, the Falcons. 25, the Jacksonville Jaguars. 26, the New York Jets. With today's news of Justin Fields leaving practice with a lower body injury, higher or lower for gangrene there?
Yeah, lower if, feels like it was good. God, I hope that's not what it is. Where do they have the Browns on this?
32.
Dead last.
Yeah. Yeah, offensively, it's going to be a challenge, but I think they're going to be better than that. Their defense should be a top 5-6 defense with all they've invested in it, and they're going to have more competent quarterback play. They're going to win more than 3 games for sure. So I think they're better off than New Orleans. They're better off than some of these teams that are ahead of them.
Yeah, I would think New Orleans would probably be last on my list right now, just because who knows what the heck they're doing at quarterback.
Yeah. Paul Finebaum in 2 minutes, Bishop and Friends, right here on The Fan.
Mark your calendars for Diamond Seller's Wedding Weekend, July 25th and 26th. Hi, it's Alex Johnson from the Diamond Seller. Wedding Weekend is back with incredible offers you won't want to miss. Enjoy buy one, get one half off wedding bands, 20% off diamond anniversary bands, and 10% off handcrafted custom bridal. We've had the guaranteed best price and an unmatched selection for over 78 years. Choose a jeweler you can trust and come see us July 25th and 26th at Diamond Seller on Salma Road or at Easton Town Center.
Common Man here for Germain Lexus of Dublin and Easton. My guys at Germain are celebrating their biggest pre-owned sales event of the year. Tons of vehicles on the lot for you to choose from, and they're ready to deal. It's also the Lexus Golden Opportunity Sales Event with rates as low as 2.99%. I was riding in my Lexus on one of our hot summer days, and I felt the crisp breeze of cold air on my cracky. Don't you want that for yourself? Of course you do. Germain Lexus, 2 locations to serve you, Dublin and Easton, GermainLexus.com.
Do you suffer from leg pain, leg swelling, varicose veins, or leg ulcers? Dr. Barry Zeta and Dr. Joseph Senta at Ohio Vein and Vascular Polaris are pioneers in the vein and vascular field. Dr. Zeta and Dr. Senta can perform minimally invasive procedures that will get you back on track to a pain-free life. Stop living with leg pain and start the process to healthy living with a free healthy leg screening. Go to loveyourveins.com or call 614-426-VEIN. That's 614-426-VEIN or loveyourveins.com.
At Planet Fitness, we're declaring it. This is the year of getting stronger, and you can get started now by saving when you join today. We have all the best-in-class equipment you could ever need, and you can work out your way on your time at any convenient location near you. Most open 24 hours. So let's do this. Join Planet Fitness today and save. Just $1 down, $15 a month.
Offer ends July 31st.
See Home Club for details.
Bishop and Friends is sponsored by Diamond Seller, your true jeweler for over 75 years. The Fan, Ohio sports destination. Bishop and Friends present college football's most polarizing figure.
Oh, Bob, man, listen to me. Hey, Paul, how you doing? Come on back to our show, Tim. The audience hates you.
This is ESPN's Paul Finebaum, sponsored by the Roofing Guys. For all your roofing, siding, and gutter needs, contact the Roofing Guys at theroofingguys.com.
Well, buddy, my guy finally got out of witness protection. Tony Petitti was in public. He was in front of a microphone. He had things to say. I got done listening to it, and I thought to myself, this guy really doesn't represent Ohio State at all. And it's just, the more and more I listened to what he was saying, I thought, and I understand it. He's got to represent 18 teams, and it's a wide array in terms of give a damn and all of them. But some of the stuff he said to me did not hit home here at all. What was your reaction to some of what Tony Petitti had to say? He had a lot to say, quite honestly.
Yeah, I thought, Bill, he had a lot of style, but I wasn't crazy about the substance. And again, I'm not glued to it like you are. I'm watching it from a distance. It just seemed like a slick New York lawyer, which may be a pretty apt description.
It might be. One of the things that, to me, doesn't resonate at all here in our market is this notion of guaranteed teams getting in. And I know that the Big Ten coaches, including Ryan, have to go out there and do what's best for the league. But the reality is that is not an Ohio State problem at all. And it feels like it's a hill that he just is going to die on. Is it one that he has enough leverage to come out on top?
Though he doesn't have any leverage right now, and you're reading the same things the audience is reading, and I thought the best quote I read this morning said that he is way ahead of his skis. That's Pat 40. Nobody in the industry is behind him, and the one thing I'll say about Greg Sankey, he knows who the league depends on and who it revolves around. He'll also pay homage to the bottom of the barrel, but he also knows that it's the Alabamas and the Georgias and the LSUs and the Texases that matter the most. And I think what you said is correct. The Big Ten commissioner has to know who the bell cow of the league is, and you don't need me to say from way down south in Alabama today that it's Ohio State. And if you lose that, remember Kevin Warren's problem, some of the same issues. There was a total disconnect between Warren during COVID and the Ohio State administration.
Yeah, the more and more I listen to it, and we talked about it a lot this week, to me, it just feels like Ohio State. And there's a couple others. I think Oregon kind of feels this way, and Penn State and Michigan to a certain extent. There's some that, in Nebraska for sure, where this guy is not speaking for us. He's just not. And the automatic bids are going to be something that obviously he feels very passionate about. What do you make of the other thing that doesn't fit? And I know Ryan Day wouldn't want this, whether he'd say it out loud or not, I don't know. But I don't think that he wants a play-in game on College Football Championship Saturday, and Petitti went all in on that. Is that something, obviously the television partners would like it, provided they have the space to be able to air the games, because that's a problem too with all of the agreements they have. Is this something that gets any traction in your neck of the woods?
No, it gets absolutely none.
Yeah.
And I think that, we wondered for 2 months now, like what's going on between Petitti and Sankey. The number one thing that Tony Petitti had going for him up until the last couple of weeks is he had the biggest and the baddest drafting partner. And I heard it on our show, and we have a couple of callers Columbus and around that area, and they were proud of it. Listen, put aside the rivalry, which is always there, but they felt good being in the same boat. Now, I don't know who feels comfortable being in this Big Ten boat. And Sankey, I think, was pretty magnanimous last week, saying, "Yeah, I talked to Tony 3 or 4 times today." And I mean, he didn't let on, but after this week with Petiti, everyone knows where he is, and he's just kind of taken the air out of the balloon, so to speak. And nobody is going along with that plan. I mean, the coaches, they may have, some of them may have said okay, but the system is pretty well established right now, and it's Tony Petiti who's holding up progress.
Yeah, I agree. And he did something that I never thought I would ever say, which is I become a fan of James Franklin, because James Franklin gave about a minute answer, Paul, and I'm not expecting that you maybe monitored this, but he gave about a minute plus answer of what the heck are we doing in Las Vegas? Like, what are we doing here? And that a lot of the beat was unable to even go from a lot of these powerhouse programs because they couldn't afford it or the travel was too much. And he said that, the atmosphere in Las Vegas, there wasn't signage, there weren't fans, and of course there wouldn't be. It's Las Vegas. You think they care about Indiana football? Indiana doesn't care about Indiana football. And I think that's the thing that's so frustrating for us in this market, is it feels like this league doesn't know how to play the hits.
Listen, the Pac-12 went to New York a couple of years ago. That was just to gain some traction. Big Ten has no business being in Vegas, and the SEC for about 20 years, their media days was in Hoover, Alabama, which is a suburb of Birmingham. I mean, it got so bad that the hotel, I didn't feel safe staying there the last time we were there 3 years ago. But why was it in Hoover, Alabama? A couple of reasons. Number one, there's 100 sports radio stations in Birmingham alone. I say that hyperbolically, but it looked like a big deal. And when Nick Saban walked in, you saw the shot. It looked like mania. There's 1,000 Alabama fans who live, by the way, within about 2 miles, and they showed up. Last week in Atlanta, this is the second year in a row, Bo, we were in the same city at the same time as the All-Star game, and it hurt. It was a lifeless media days, and I had SEC people asking me last week, where do you think we ought to go next year? Because we're not coming back here. I said, just don't go somewhere where the All-Star game isn't. That matters visually. It doesn't matter internally, but you don't want one of your top coaches blasting you because he had to travel 5 hours.
No, you don't. You don't want that at all. Dan Lanning had some interesting comments. One of the things he kind of was hoping for, and this gets back to the college football playoff conversation, was, and this is something I've advocated here for on our show, is a tightening up of the college football playoff. And he was saying wrapping by January 1. I don't know if you could do that. I don't know if there's enough weeks for that. You'd have to play every week, obviously. But I've always been a proponent of, let's get this thing done and out of the NFL's way by maybe that first full week in January. It doesn't feel like that's coming, as we've had these things scheduled out all the way in January. But should it be something that they discuss when they figure out the future of this sport?
It should be, but the thing Dan Lanning said, which we absolutely have to adhere to, is a week 0 being the start of the season. I mean, I'm on ESPN, Bo. There's nothing going on right now. I mean, there's a reason why if you put on ESPN1 at this moment, there's Little League softball on, okay? Because other than the Cowboys, I mean, I've done the ESPN shows all week. It's the Cowboys, it's Aaron. Now it's Justin Fields getting injured, and then hey, let's go out to Vegas and talk to Heather Bendich. I mean, it's almost forced in, it's baked in, and the season has to start. I would be in favor of starting a week earlier. I mean, I don't really care. It's hot everywhere. I mean, it's 102 degrees where I am right now, probably hotter where you are. It doesn't matter. It's a television sport. It's no different on August 21st than it will be on September 21st.
Yeah, to me, that's the jumping off point, is get this thing going quicker. You are in Alabama today, but you spend the majority of your time in the North Carolina area. We are getting closer now to this debut, and I see this on ESPN that North Carolina has sold out their tickets for Belichick's debut season. There's an excitement for him. What are you hearing about how that's coming together, and how are people in that part of the country? Obviously, the excitement's there with tickets. That always wins. But in terms of what is a win for him year 1 at Carolina?
Number one, even though I've lived in North Carolina since the day he was hired, I don't feel the buzz. It feels very artificial. This isn't Deion Sanders. one of the greatest athletes of all time, coming back at a reasonably, mid-level age in the 50s. I mean, this is an old guy who just took the job because he got fired at New England. This isn't somebody who this wouldn't be Nick Saban coming back. And it just feels awkward. And I'm not even getting into the Jordan Hudson thing, which is creepy. He'll win 8 games this year. I mean, but there's only so far you can take it. Bill Belichick isn't must see. I mean, I've read all these phony baloney columns about, he's going to be just like Prime. No, he's not, because he doesn't have Travis Hunter and Shedeur Sanders.
No, he doesn't. He does not have that charisma either. All right, I'll get you out of here on this one. I think we can, and one of the topics this summer has been, would Saban come back? And I think, and you know him better than anybody, but obviously nobody thinks he's going to come back to college football. Do you think that he would listen to an NFL team?
Nick Saban is a smart guy. He'll sit down and listen, especially to somebody like Jimmy Haslam. But I heard what Colin said yesterday. And listen, I mean, maybe Colin knows more than all of us, but I have a hard time believing it.
Me too.
I mean, that's not the first time you can put together the Jimmy. First of all, Jimmy Haslam is from Knoxville, and Jimmy Sexton lives in Memphis. And having lived in both cities, there's 463 miles difference between the two. Why would and finally, why did Jim Harbaugh come back? Because he had a quarterback.
That's it.
Are you telling me that Nick Saban is going to come back and let a rookie quarterback be his guy? That's not possible. He would come back to a franchise that could go to the Super Bowl, not one who's going to be lucky to win 4 games the first year.
Yeah, I nailed it, my friend. As always, great talking to you. We'll do it again next week. Thanks for your time.
Can't wait, Bo.
All right, there he goes, Paul Finebaum, the Paul Finebaum Show on ESPN and the SEC Network, joining us on the Brian Heating Cooling Systems Fan Guest Hotline. We get Thing or Not a Thing up next. Bishop and Friends, right here on The Fan.
All the 10 TV people come over to our side of the building to take a deuce. That should tell you something about how we operate. The Fan.
When you speed, you have less time to react. Follow the speed limit to keep other road users safe. Speeding catches up with you. Paid for by NHTSA.
At United Dairy Farmers, peach is our most popular ice cream. And once you taste it, you'll know why. Right now, get 2 48-ounce cartons of UDF peach ice cream for $10. It's only here for a short time. UDF peach ice cream, made for you.
Get Eco.
Hey, Aaron. Hey, Jerry. You know, as much as I enjoy being a professional inventor, a few of my dream inventions still elude me.
Oh, yeah? Like what?
Well, the bruiseless avocado.
Ooh.
The unlosable TV remote.
Could change the world.
And for you, Aaron, the uncloggable drain.
Get Eco.
Until you crack it, Jerry. You know our 93 are free drain clearing offer is the next best thing.
Okay. Explain yourself.
Get Eco.
Our drain team will clear your drain for just $93. If we can't clear it, it's free. And we guarantee it'll stay clear for at least a year, or we will clear it again for free.
Get Eco.
We'll even send our little robot camera down there to make sure you don't have a larger problem that could cause more trouble in the future.
Get Eco.
You think your guys could bring that robot over to my place and help me find that TV remote?
I think that's impossible even for us.
Get Eco.
Eco, plumbers, electricians, and HVAC technicians.
GetEco.com.
We repurpose a lot of the junk we haul away.
Donatables get donated to a family that needs them, and the recyclables get recycled.
And we have enough trucks that we can come the day you call us.
We work to help your neighbors, the planet, and you.
Call 1-800-GOT-JUNK.
Hey, it's Anthony. I actually enjoy the off-season. Gives me a chance to be really active, travel, be on the move. But when my back started giving me pain, I wasn't going to just deal with it this time. I went to the Good Feet store. Their personally fit arch supports got my feet into their ideal alignment, and I could already feel the difference in my back immediately. And they educated me. I had no clue we actually have several arches under our feet, and those cushy over-the-counter insoles were not going to do the trick. So many people suffering with pain can benefit from their system. People with pain in their feet, ankles, lower legs, knees, hips, and more. I've been wearing my personally fit arch supports for a while now, and they've given me the motivation and confidence to be as active as I want to be. The Good Feet store thrives on being solution-oriented. Go in. The fitting is free. They want you to try them in the store and feel them for yourself. So get back to living the life you love with the Good Feet store. They're on Stringtown Road in Grove City and on Polaris Parkway. Or check them out at goodfeet.com.
Friday, July 25th is Recovery Ohio's Mental Health Day at the Ohio State Fair. Visit the Department of Mental Health and Addiction Services, the Department of Insurance, and other state agency booths. Come learn about mental health resources available to you and to your family. Join us on Friday, July 25th for Recovery Ohio's Mental Health Day at the Ohio State Fair.
Join our resident gambling degenerates Dave Biddle and Scotty Vegas for On the Money Sunday morning at 9.
Presented by ESPN Bet at Hollywood Casino Columbus.
All the action, none of the responsibility. The Fan.
Skyline is introducing a new chicken chili. Come get that world-famous Skyline flavor you love with a new protein option. Try the new Skyline chicken chili on Waze, Coney's, and all your Skyline favorites. At Columbus Skyline locations only while supplies last.
Bobby Carpenter here for Germain Toyota of Columbus. Summer is the perfect time to gear up in a new truck from Germain Toyota of Columbus. Right now, drive home the 2025 Toyota Tundra with 1.99 APR for 72 months, or take command of the 2024 Toyota Tacoma, also just 1.99 APR for 72 months. Get power, performance, and unbeatable savings, all at Germain Toyota, located at 5711 Scarborough Boulevard on the corner of I-70 and Bryce Road. Shop online anytime at germaintoyota.net.
Master Grillers Unite. The grilling season never ends at Billiards Plus. Come see their best-in-class grills for yourself and check out Central Ohio's largest selection of pool tables, game furniture, and shuffleboard. Family-owned and operated. Billiards Plus on Dublin Center Drive in Dublin.
The Fan Guest Hotline is sponsored by Airflow Heating and Cooling and Bryant, doing whatever it takes to keep you and your home comfortable. The Fan.
When General Sherman marched through Georgia, he was listening to this show.
Use your skills for good, young warrior.
This is Bishop and Friends.
Yeah, and some news out of Jersey. This is good news. Justin Fields with a toe injury. So we've talked about this through the majority part of the show. Kind of happened, and initially the thinking was, maybe a catastrophic leg injury. Not the case. Aaron Glenn updating reporters there that it is a toe injury, and they think that maybe just somebody stepped on his toe. So best possible news considering the look of it, coming out of Justin Fields' camp in New York with the Jets. Time for a little thing or not a thing. Hit it.
Thing or not a thing.
Sponsored by Billiards Plus. Find your next grill and everything you need for the master griller. Billiards Plus on Dublin Center Drive in Dublin.
Joey Kaufman of the Columbus Dispatch reported yesterday former Ohio State Athletic Director Gene Smith has been hired by the University of Maryland as a consultant to their new athletic director, Jim Smith. While he is retired, Gene also serves on the boards for the Big Ten Network and the Fiesta Bowl. He expects to be in this new role for about 6 months. The 69-year-old Smith told the Dispatch, "You have to have something to keep you mentally active, and the consulting and board work keeps me mentally active. Obviously, I'm not working 80-plus hours a week." Jim Smith was the Associate Athletic Director for Marketing and Communications with the Buckeyes from 95 to 2000, most recently an executive with the Atlanta Braves. Thing or not a thing?
I'm going to go not a thing. I think, you're approaching 70, and I like what he said there. You have to have something to keep you mentally active. I was unaware he's on the board of the Big Ten Network. That's an odd one. Fiesta Bowl makes all the sense in the world. Who wouldn't want to be on that board? 5-star hotels, golf, all of those things win. Yeah, I'm going to go not a thing. Helping a guy with some commonalities in the background, and this is, something to stay active. So I'm going to say not a thing.
Yeah, I'm going to say it's not a thing either. We see a lot of guys do this. They retire from one job, and then their friend over here is in that position, and, they need a little help. And also, he said he just expects to be doing it for 6 months. Mm-hmm. So maybe just helping with some of this transitionary period as you figure out what the rules are, if there will be any rules in NIL and transfer portal and all of that stuff. So, yeah, not a thing. Gene's just, he can't help himself. Probably getting paid pretty well for a little bit of work, too.
Yeah.
On a recent episode of the Club 520 podcast, former NBAer Jeff Teague and his co-hosts argued about Cavs LeBron versus Heat LeBron, and when Teague dropped quite the accusation.
Which Bron was better?
Miami Heat Bron.
Miami Heat Bron.
Miami Heat.
I'm going this Cavs Bron, because this Cavs Bron had a 3.
Man, y'all crazy. Miami Heat Bron was, he was on steroids, bro. He had to sit out. He was on steroids for real. Like legit was on steroids, bro. Allegedly. But he had to sit out. But y'all remember when they told him they
there goes the Clutch Sports allegations.
Y'all remember that though? Well, they was like, he got everybody, they started testing for HGH, and they was like, yo, and he had to sit out. Like, he said his back was hurt, and he sat out for like 3 weeks, and he came back skinny. This is just, I was in the league. I remember.
Teague then posted on Instagram yesterday, y'all weird, I was just joking about Braun. He was just that dominant. Chill. Thing, or not a thing?
Well, the last part's a lie. He wasn't just joking, clearly. He said it very matter-of-factly. I think sometimes, and there's a lot of this going on right now, I think sometimes these former players, a lot of them have podcasts now, and this is the thing. Former NBA player has a podcast, and let's get around and talk. And then they start talking. It's almost like they forget that's being recorded, and they forget that it's going to be airing. I don't think that he was joking around at all. I think he meant everything that he said. Whether LeBron did it or not, who knows? We'll never be able to relitigate. But I also think that this is absolutely a thing. And the idea that's like, oh, yeah, I'm just joking. Yeah, that's like when somebody tweets something that they immediately regret, and they're like, oh, yeah, I was hacked. Really? Really? Are we sure? So that's the way I read that one.
It's going to be interesting to see if LeBron responds to this at all or not. I mean, you got to remember, this isn't just you and your buddies sitting around watching a game here. Like, you're doing this, and it's being recorded, and it's going to go out for people to hear. When I initially heard this, I was like, of all the players in the NBA that would have never needed to do steroids, it's LeBron James, because he's already bigger, faster, and stronger than everyone. But if it's an HGH thing where he was trying to get back from an injury maybe sooner, it made a little more sense. But we know how well and how much LeBron takes care of his body. It's a pretty crazy accusation to just throw out there in conversation like, oh, yeah, legitimately. I mean, allegedly.
Yeah. I don't think LeBron's going to be responding. Last I saw, he's in Saint-Tropez with, like, Bezos. So I think he's going to be fine where he is.
Rough life.
Yeah, it is.
The MLS All-Star Game was last night at the Q2 Stadium in Austin, Texas.
Not a thing.
MLS All-Stars beat... I'm getting to it because you're right. This part isn't. MLS All-Stars beat an All-Star team from Liga MX 3-1. The crew had a pair of players that were represented there. Lionel Messi and his Inter Miami teammate Jordi Alba face possible league suspensions for just no-showing last night's game. Messi has yet to play in an MLS All-Star Game since joining Miami in 2023. Thing or not a thing?
I would love to be in the room when little Don Garber walks in and tries to tell Lionel Messi that you're suspended. Who's suspending me? You? You're going to suspend me? Kindly leave. I think All-Star games in general are it's a very American thing. It is something that they're all kind of dying on the vine a little bit. These things are brutal. They're brutal. And so I don't blame him for not playing, and I love the idea of Garber trying to suspend him. I think that would be amazing to have him try to suspend Lionel Messi.
I'm picturing it now, Bo. Messi sitting there with his feet up on the table.
Yeah.
And Garber comes in and he's like, who do I write the check to?
Right.
Like what's the amount here? Get out of here. And listen, Don Garber's not going to do that because I'm guessing Messi, when he plays, is a pretty big draw.
He is.
And you're going to want the attendance in the gate of wherever it is that he's playing, as opposed to him not playing. So, yeah, this isn't a thing at all.
Especially on Saturday when Miami hosts the top team of the table, FC Cincinnati.
Yeah.
You're going to suspend him. Probably if a suspension comes, it'll likely be after that game, but there's no way.
Bake's right. It's going to be a check. Here's $500,000.
Go away.
Fine.
Get out of here, you gnats.
Leave. Kindly leave.
We had this from earlier in the week at Big Ten Media Days, but Ohio State's Ryan Day on Tuesday had a little bit of extra work on his plate getting some players into their accommodations.
The three guys that we have here are tremendous young men. I told somebody before we were checking into the hotel, and as we were checking in, the woman behind the desk said, is there someone 21 that can check these three guys in? I said, yeah, I'll do it, because Caleb, Sonny are both 20, and Jeremiah is 19. So when you get around our guys, and especially these three, you just realize not only how talented and special they are, but what great young men. And I think all three guys are a great representation of what it means to be a Buckeye.
Thing or not a thing?
I did not know you had to be 21 to get a hotel room. I thought it was 18. So I was unaware of that.
It's pretty crazy that that's the case, right? Like, those guys could go fight in a war, but they can't check into a hotel room. I actually found this out back in June. I think it was for the state baseball tournament. We were sitting there in the hotel bar having a drink, and then one of the OHSAA interns came in to grab Tim Streed to say, hey, can you check me into the room? Because she's a college freshman and only 19 years old, and they would not check her into the hotel room because of that. So I did know that this was a thing just because I saw it happen less than a month ago.
I had no idea. I remember definitely going to a Colorado State game my freshman year in college, and we stayed in a hotel. Now, it was the El Palomino in Fort Collins. So hotel loosely, more motel. But they let us in with no problems.
I guess I could see Vegas just being a little less lenient than other places.
The El Palomino in Fort Collins.
Or the hotels in Akron.
Bo, was that one of those hotels that had an hourly rate as well?
Dude, it was... Oh, my God. It was a terrifying evening. I'll just say that. It was not the best. 20 most interesting programs continues. The Oregon Ducks on the plate. Coming up next, Bishop and Friends, right here on The Fan.
During this 10-second promo, Rothman will lose money gambling on something.
People like you come here and blow the family nest egg that built this town.
Rothman and Ice.
Weekdays from noon to 3.
The Fan.
Men, summertime is here, and that means vacations, summer barbecues, outdoor parties, camping, beaches, and so much more. This is Jeff for Tri-State Men's Health, and if you're like many men, you may not be feeling like yourself this summer. Perhaps your energy is low and you aren't sleeping well. Maybe your workouts aren't as good as they used to be, and if what I'm describing is you, it's very likely you're suffering with low testosterone. But low T doesn't have to affect you anymore. Just call Tri-State Men's Health, get treated, and see how it changes your life. If you're like most men, you'll feel so much better. Deeper sleep, improved vitality and clarity, greater strength and energy, and an enhanced sex drive as well. So call us. Just $99 gets you a PSA and T-test and a medical consult. And if you start on testosterone the day of your appointment, your visit is free. Call 800-900-9654. That's 800-900-9654. Or go to tristatemenshealth.com. We have 6 offices across the tri-state area to serve you.
Final days. Diamonds Direct Summer Showcase ends this Sunday, but there's still time to make it unforgettable. Get an extra 20% off almost everything. Engagement rings, wedding bands, earrings, gold jewelry, tennis bracelets, and stunning fashion jewelry. Plus, this weekend only, top designers from New York and LA are live in store with exclusive collections you can't find anywhere else. The sparkle, the savings, the moment. Don't miss it. Only through Sunday, only at Diamonds Direct. Appointments are filling fast. Get details at diamondsdirect.com.
At Dick's Sporting Goods, we have always believed sport has the power to change lives. Community happens here. Change happens here. Sport happens here. Introducing the all-new Dick's House of Sport, bringing new experiences, new services, and unrivaled selection from the top brands to a new place Polaris can call home. Featuring a rock wall, a HitTrax multi-sport cage, and 3 golf hitting bays. Dick's House of Sport at Polaris Fashion Place. Grand opening celebration August 15th through August 17th.
Matty Ice here, up at McDaniel GM Superstore in Marion. They are celebrating July 4th all month long. Right now, for qualified buyers, get up to $12,000 off MSRP on a 25 Silverado 1500. With McDaniel GM Superstore, you don't have to worry about market adjustments or hidden costs. That's why they are my go-to for a new vehicle. They are just a short drive north off Route 23 in Marion, or you can visit McDanielGMSuperstore.com. McDaniel GM Superstore, where great deals meet a century of trust. Chevrolet, together, let's drive.
At United Dairy Farmers, Peach is our most popular ice cream. Although it's only here for a short time, we sell more of it than any other flavor. And once you taste it, you'll know why it wins the popularity contest. We make it from scratch by mixing in the juice from our hand-selected peaches and big chunks of fruit. That's what gives it that unique peachier flavor. And that might also explain why peach season at UDF doesn't last long. UDF Peach Ice Cream, made for you.
Imagine what it would feel like getting tackled head-on by a 240-pound linebacker. You'd be in serious pain, right? But if you're unbuckled in a car crash, at just 50 miles an hour, you become a deadly projectile that can slam into other passengers with 8 times that amount of force. Don't let someone else take the hit. Buckle up and visit buckleup.ohio.gov to learn more. Brought to you by ODOT and ODPS.
Factory direct is really pretty simple. The factory sells it directly to the consumer. I mean, we build it. There's nothing that anybody else does. We have stations where everybody touches the window. Everyone sees what's going on. So if there's an issue, we catch it as it's going down the line. That's probably the biggest thing, is the ability to make sure what goes out the door is what I want to go out the door.
Visit Rizzotti Windows and get 35% off all windows and doors by July 31st.
Actual price will depend on product and subscription plan. Featured products are compounded drug products, which the FDA does not approve or verify for safety, effectiveness, or quality. Prescription products require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate. See website for details, restrictions, and important safety information.
Want a boost in and out of the bedroom? Hims has you covered. Introducing a new 2-in-1 approach to level up your game. Tadalafil for better bedroom performance and zinc for testosterone support. Put it all together and you've got what you need to turn things all the way up. Getting started is simple. Just go to hims.com/joy to start your free online visit. Through Hims, you can access ED treatments including pills, chews, and more. 100% online. No office visits, no pharmacy lines. Just fill out a simple intake form and a licensed medical provider will determine if treatment's right for you. If prescribed, it ships free and discreetly to your door. Find affordable treatment options at up to 95% less than brand names at hims.com/joy. That's hims.com/joy, hims.com/joy.
Broadcasting from the Lindsay Honda Studios.
Honda makes the cars. Lindsay makes the difference. Visit lindsayhonda.com.
WBNS-FM, HD1 Columbus. The Fan. Sports Center.
Good morning. I'm Eric Reeser. We've got day baseball in the Buckeye State. The Guardians look for the series sweep, hosting the Orioles at 1:10 today. Cleveland's won their last 4 games, including a 3-2 win last night over Baltimore. Guardians are in Kansas City on Friday. As for the Reds, Cincinnati put a halt to a 3-game slide yesterday. Nick Lodolo surrendered 4 hits and 9 innings of work as the Redlegs blanked the Nationals 4-0 in Washington. Cincinnati's got the day off. Reds are back home tomorrow night hosting the Tampa Bay Rays. In the minors, the Columbus Clippers host the Buffalo Bisons this afternoon at 12:05. And in NFL news, Jets quarterback Justin Fields left practice this morning after suffering an injury. Jets head coach Aaron Glenn says it's a toe injury. That's what's being reported, and that's what's being told by Aaron Glenn. This update is sponsored by BMI Federal Credit Union. Rates as low as 5.54% and a $400 cash bonus when you refinance your auto loan with BMI Federal Credit Union. Breaking sports news when it happens on The Fan, Ohio's sports destination.
Producers, co-hosts, friends, some of those things are true. You're listening to Bishop and Friends.
All right, final hour on a Thursday. 20 most interesting rolls on. Gonna have to keep our eyes on these guys for now, for the future. It's the Oregon Ducks. Hit it.
There are millions of college football teams around the world, but only a handful of them made our cut. Bishop and Friends present the 20 most interesting college football programs.
Oregon Ducks. Go back 30 years and tell a Buckeye fan, 30 years from now, the biggest adversary in your league is going to be the Oregon Ducks. You can even leave the in your league part out of it. Like, just your biggest adversaries. What? This is not a serious program. But they've been serious. And they've been serious since Mike Bellotti got there. Probably even started with Rich Brooks. Then Bellotti, into Chip, into Helfrich, and now Dan Lanning. And Lanning has done something. Look, they got to a national championship game before. They played Auburn for a national championship. We played them for a national championship. They've knocked on the door for a very, very long time. It feels like Lanning's way of building it and the combination of his mentality and their money has put them in a spot where if you are saying pick 5 programs in the country that are consistently going to be at the top of the sport, despite some of the challenges they have in recruiting in terms of not a whole lot of talent within driving distance, this is one of them. This is one of them. This is the biggest adversary for Big Ten supremacy for Ohio State for the foreseeable future, as far as I'm concerned. I think they go nowhere. I'll give you a little preview on NIL portal grade. It's an A+. They're going to be an A+ on that, on recruiting, as long as he's there and as long as Phil Knight's alive. That's the way that it's going to be. So get used to it. They have gotten us the last couple of times, but we got them when it mattered most. And I think it's probably the best half of football an Ohio State football team has ever played. I really think that it's on a very short list. That first half in the Rose Bowl against Oregon was so comprehensive, so dominant. It was stupefying to watch, just from our perspective. Like, this is how this is going to go? Like, you knew that you were rolling, but you just didn't think it would go like that, and then it did. Lanning was available this week and actually weighed in on the getting over that Rose Bowl loss. Folks, they were 13-0 going into that game. Here is Lanning on how they've tried to get over it.
For me as a coach, I've always, I think every coach probably feels this way, but we always remember the losses over the wins. I think there's a lot you can learn from that. It doesn't take away from what we were able to accomplish, but we lost to a great team. You know, Coach Day did an unbelievable job last year of having his team in position to have success there, and there's some things that I feel like I could have done better there at the end. We didn't play, I don't think we played our best football. That being said, we did go undefeated in the conference. We won the Big Ten championship in our first year. So, like I said, double down, learn, focus on our process. What do we have to continue to improve? There's always learning lessons, but it doesn't necessarily impact the future.
So they had Dylan Gabriel for a year, and now they get Dante Moore. Dante Moore initially was at UCLA. Chip Kelly won that recruiting battle. He transferred from Oregon to Oregon last year. He sat behind Dylan Gabriel, and now he will get the keys to the kingdom. They were incredibly active in the portal, and not just in terms of size, but quality, massive quality of players that have come in there. They're really good. They are one of the true contenders in the Big Ten, and they're going nowhere, and my hunch is you're going to see these guys consistently over the next decade or so. It's pretty remarkable what they've done there over the last 20 years. The combination of money and uniforms and the right coaching hires, they really haven't missed on any. There hasn't really been anything that they've missed on from a coaching hire standpoint. It just feels like everything they've done has worked the last 25 years.
Yeah, and every coach has tried to add a little bit. Like I think Mario Cristobal tried to make them a really tough team.
Yeah.
But they've also done a good job of maintaining their identity. Right, like they've always had speed. They've always, had. It's always been finesse. Just little bits and pieces there, but it's really been Dan Lanning that's added that kind of Georgia punch.
Yeah.
To what Oregon's wanted to do. Now they've always kind of had a folly that they never been able to get over. It was Washington when they were in the Pac-12. Then both those teams joined the conference, and yeah, Oregon was unblemished in the regular season, beat Penn State in a Big Ten championship game that I don't think anybody outside of the state of Pennsylvania really thought was as close as that final score would dictate. But it all kind of got washed once they got rinsed by Ohio State in the first half of that Rose Bowl. And, they had, managed to make it a more respectable final than, again, what the actual game looked like there. But, boy, it's a lot that can set you back for, like, Ohio State could have kicked Oregon into a chasm the way they did Miami, the way that some thought they might do Clemson. But I think the Ducks have enough, like everything that you had mentioned, to be a team that'll be around for the next decade. And Dan Lanning will probably remain with them for that, because this feels like the best job, one of, if not on the short list of best jobs in the country. Like, Dan, where would Dan go that could be better than what he's got right now in Eugene?
I mean, he's offered Bama, and he said, no, I'm good.
I think it's interesting talking all about that. Like when Oregon first kind of burst on the scene with Achilles Smith and then Joey Harrington, it kind of seemed like they were a high-flying spread team. Mm-hmm. And then Chip Kelly gets there, and yeah, they were still that, but it was a lot of the run game. Chip Kelly was a bunch of run, and then Mario Cristobal gets there, and he brings the toughness to the lines. And now I think Dan Lanning's there, and it's almost like he brings a belief and an attitude to this team that still is there fighting Ohio State and Bama and Georgia for the top recruits every year, actually beating them on some of them. That year, last year that they had was so good. And I think, especially in hindsight now looking back, it was clear that the two best teams in the country on the field were Oregon and Ohio State, which makes that first half of that Rose Bowl, like we talked about earlier this week, probably the best half of Ohio State football I've ever seen. Because I've never sat there in disbelief, as in, I can't believe Ohio State's doing this on the good side. I sat there for a bunch of Michigan games in my life where my jaw's on the floor, like, I can't believe this is happening. That was a reverse of that. That was, oh, my God, I cannot believe they're doing this to this team.
Yeah, it was completely stupefying. And I think for Lanning, how his team respond, how do they bounce back from that? How do you bounce back from being down 34-8 at half in the Rose Bowl as the number one team in the country? What does that look like? I think it helps that, Dante Moore is there. It helps that they have all of the talent that they have. It's amazing how many times we've crossed paths with the Ducks in the last 15 years or so. When you think about the Rose Bowl game, which was probably Pryor's best game, of course, a national championship game, they came in here and punched us in the mouth and ran the same play basically the entire game and beat us before they joined the league. And then, of course, last year, the game where Will can't get down soon enough, and away you go. So, yeah, they are the worthy adversary. I was always dumbfounded why the Big Ten was so reticent to take them. Like they had to come in at discount, and it's like, this is a better brand. I would argue that Oregon football right now is a better brand than USC football.
Yes,
I know it's about markets, but like if you're just doing like brands, the Oregon football brand is a top 10 brand in the country. I really think it is. I don't think that's overstepping.
And they've, in the last 20 years, have really become that national presence. I know that Ohio State was big in on DeCorian Moore, and he chose Oregon. Mm-hmm. And I think that, to Baker's earlier point, where they're competing for the best recruits and they're winning a lot of these recruiting battles, makes it, a tip of the cap to what has been done by everybody that's coached in Eugene over the last quarter of a century, because they've made it a national program. They've made it nationally relevant. Yeah, having the Phil Knight Nike money, or the kind of bottomless pit of cash, helps.
Yeah.
But it's what the coaches have done as stewards of that program that has made them healthiest among these teams. I think their schedule also sets up pretty well, but they've got to do some traveling. And that's, I think, the one knock on what this Big Ten has become, is because the Ducks have to go to Penn State, they have to go to Iowa, they have to go to Northwestern, and everything else close.
And we talk about those recruiting battles just with Ohio State alone. You look at their roster, DeCorian Moore, Jeremiah McClellan, 2 guys in the receiver room, 2 guys in the defensive backfield, Naheem Offord, Dorian Brew, and then Dylan Thieneman, the transfer from Purdue. We know Ohio State was high on him. How good would he look next to Caleb Downs in scarlet and gray this year? That's 5 guys just right there, boom, off the top of your head.
And the idea that they're winning those battles tells you how far they've come. It started with uniforms, then it was facilities, and now it's all above board, so you can just flat out pay, and they got a bottomless pit, to Reese's point. The schedule, non-conference, they have Oklahoma State and Oregon State in the non-conference. That's a good job out of them. They have the 1AA powerhouse Montana State Bobcats to open the season. You mentioned the travel. It's real, though. They go to Chicago, to Happy Valley, to Piscataway, to Iowa, and then the other one is Seattle. So that's close, obviously, but it's a lot of travel for them across the country. But that's what they all signed up for. They are contenders. They're going to be a contender for a very, very long time. On the field, off. They're the second probably most stable brand in the Big Ten behind Ohio State, the second most stable program in the Big Ten. We'll hit the categories on the Ducks coming up next. Bishop and Friends right here on The Fan.
We used to have a billboard with our host's face on it, but only ugly people work here now.
You mama say you ugly, hey!
The Fan, Ohio sports destination.
Thinking about buying your first home? Now, with Third Federal, you can buy your first home and pay no PMI. Hi, I'm Mark Stefanski, Chairman and CEO of Third Federal. Private mortgage insurance, or PMI, can cost thousands of dollars over the life of your loan. And you may not realize PMI doesn't protect you. It only protects the lender in case of default. But at Third Federal, you can buy a home with just 5% down and no PMI. Plus, first-time home buyers get $750 off a closing cost. So if you're thinking about buying your first home, go for it and visit thirdfederal.com.
Even before you find a home, lock in 6.44%, APR 6.47% on a 30-year fixed-rate purchase mortgage. Visit thirdfederal.com or call 1-800-3rd-FED today. APR reflects 15% down for $350,000 loan amount. Rate requires automatic payment program and is subject to change. Restrictions apply. See conditions for closing cost coupon at thirdfederal.com/FTHB. Equal housing lender.
Hi, this is Ron from the Good Feet store. Are you standing on painful feet all day? Don't lose hope. We want to help you live without pain. Discover your options and visit goodfeet.com or stop in today at the Good Feet store on Polaris Parkway in Grove City.
So we bought an actual shopping mall and put one of the largest Honda dealerships in the world inside of it. Hi, it's Steve Lindsay with Lindsay Honda. So it's big. We house about 150 to 200 cars indoors, lit, all unlocked, ready for you to be able to view and see. A fully tempered climate. Doesn't matter if it's raining outside, 10 below zero, super hot. There's real trees inside, and it's just a casual environment. And if you haven't seen it, it's really a cool story, not about its opulence. It's just a cool story to see what was a dilapidated old mall being reinvigorated into a pillar in the community that everybody benefits from.
This July at Lindsay Honda, our famous Cash for Clunkers is back during our Honda Summer event. Get up to $3,500 minimum for your trade and use it for a down payment, negative equity, or keep the cash. Only at Lindsay Honda.
At Kroger, you never compromise. You get high quality and low prices. Like you never compromise your meal with our spring salad mix that's guaranteed fresh. And you never compromise your budget with lower prices on over 1,000 items. Hand it to Kroger shoppers. You never compromise. Kroger. Fresh for everyone.
Right now, Private Selection 80% lean Angus ground beef chuck in 1-pound packages is $5.49 each with your digital coupon. Kroger, fresh for everyone.
Make this your year. Looking for a new career in the high-demand fields of IT and cybersecurity? Attend classes live, online, or on campus. Go to mycomputercareer.edu and take the free career evaluation today.
Financial aid is available to those who qualify.
What does summer bring to mind? Lazy days by the pool? Hot dogs on the grill? How about large, sweaty men putting work in to defend their national title? Yes! Your summer home of the Buckeyes, The Fan.
This radio commercial was made to convince you to stop speeding. We can't use siren sound effects on the radio, so we'll use other equally jarring sound effects to get your attention. Like telling you that whether you drive a little over the speed limit or a lot, you can crash just the same. You could hurt yourself or worse, others.
I'm at the scene of the collision.
And the damage you cause will be beyond repair. See? We didn't have to use crash or siren sounds after all. Speeding catches up with you. Brought to you by NHTSA.
You can stream the game on your phone while you're gardening. You can stream it while you walk the dog. You can stream it at a trampoline park. You can even stream it at a monster truck rally. But the second you get behind the wheel, the game's over. Remember, Ohio, phones down. It's the law.
Fan weather.
From the Logan AC and Heat Services Weather Center.
A heat alert is in place for today. Our temperatures in the low 90s, but with that humidity, the feels like will be into the triple digits, so make sure you're taking breaks in the shade and drinking plenty of fluid. For tonight, mostly clear skies with chances of showers and thunderstorms popping up as we go overnight into Friday morning. It'll be warm tonight with lows down into the upper 70s. For the Fan, I'm meteorologist Meredith Garfalo with your 10 Weather Impact forecast.
1, 2, 3. Here at the Fan is always football o'clock. Proud to be your home of the Buckeyes, Browns, and all the NFL games you can handle. The Fan. The uncle you never knew you had. The friends you kind of wish you didn't. This is Bishop and Friends.
Was that after, that was the show after we did the Rose Bowl that we started with a little bit softer now? Is that it?
It was.
That was fun. That's fun. One other thing that I think that you're going to see, and we heard a lot before we get to the categories, one thing I think you're going to see is I think that Ohio State's, I think the Ross Bjorks, the powerful people at Ohio State, I think they saw what Oregon does on an in-game situation and the value that it did for them when we had to go out there and said, boy, there's some of that maybe we ought to be able to steal. So I think you'll see some of that stuff, though. But, yeah, a little bit softer is about as good as it gets out at Oregon. All right, let's hit the categories on the Ducks.
Mighty Organs, their fight song.
Solid.
Yeah.
They were a really fun, and before when they were in the Pac-12, they were a really fun NCAA football video game team. There's the LaMichael James teams. I mean, they had some teams that were a lot of fun to play with, and the uniforms are fun because you go through all of it. All right, NIL portal grade on the Ducks, Bake.
It's an A+, and it's going to be for a long time. But you look at their portal this year, they only took 11 guys out of the portal, Bo, but yet they're 5th in the country in portal ranking. They have the highest player grade rating of any team in the portal. Georgia, Alabama, Ohio State, they were all right around that 11 guys in the portal as well. They're down in the low 20s. That tells you how good of a job Oregon did.
Yeah, I'm going to give them a B+, because, again, I go back to when you talk about NIL portal grades assigned, it's that the talent retention, right? That you've got to still keep a roster that includes, I'm looking right here, 3 players projected in the first round of next year's NFL draft. Like, money's got to be allocated to keep those guys happy, including a Uiagalelei.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Look, it's an A+. To me, it's an A+. They got everything that you want. They got all the money that you want. Last year, they had the number 5 recruiting class in the country. This year, right now, early on, they're in the top 10. You mentioned the portal grades for them. It feels like they get the guys they want. I mean, they're one of the few programs that go head-to-head with Ohio State, Alabama, Texas, and win in recruiting. I mean, that's wild. And they do not have the history of those programs, but they have the money. They have the cachet. They have everything that you want other than that, and it's winning. They're winning those battles head-to-head, which is it's wild. Would Buddy Garrity want to run their collective grade big?
Yeah, I think so, because he has all of Phil Knight's money. He's got unlimited resources here.
I'm going to give it a B-, because I think, yes, the unlimited pool of money would be fun. I don't know if he'd do Oregon, though. Like, there's got to be a personality fit with Buddy Garrity out of Midwest Texas and Eugene, Oregon. I don't know if their voting slips look similar.
You imagine him walking into Voodoo Donuts.
Going to Portland.
In Portland, grabbing a Stumptown and trying to wrap his head around, like, you put what on a donut and you want me to pay what for it? That feels like a bit of a stretch. Yeah, the money would be nice, but I think he'd be a little fish out of water in Oregon. I'm gonna go C+. For Buddy running their collective. Campus social life grade. Have you guys been to? I know Reese has been to Oregon. You went there on vacation.
It's an A+. I love the Pacific Northwest.
Yeah, I've never been, but I was going to say it's got to be an A. It's beautiful out there. The football stadium. We saw how great that atmosphere was when Ohio State was out there. I can't believe it being anything other than an A.
It's an A+. I think Oregon is for most of my life, was a really slept-on state. It was one that you had Portland, and nobody really knew much else about it. And then Nike pops on the scene in the early 80s, mid-80s. It starts to go. I actually think Bandon Dunes helped a ton with Oregon. It allowed people to see what else was out there and how beautiful it is. It's a stunningly beautiful state. Portland is an awesome city. Eugene is great. There's a lot to like. Yeah, can you imagine? Like going a little bit softer now? I mean, come on.
And those West Coast kicks.
Oh, gosh. Yeah, it's strong. It's very, very strong. Do they wear the right uniform grade, Bake?
So I may be different than most here. I don't love all of their uniform combinations. I don't think it's great. I do love when they do the throwback with the duck on the side and the O and all of that, and it's that bright Kelly green. Like, I really like that one, but they don't wear that one very often. I just give it a C. It's just average to me.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm going to be a little nicer, a B-. Their green and white are pretty classic. Like, those work. I do also like the flying puddles instead of just the wing on the helmet. Mm-hmm. But there's just so many of them. It's like, what is their actual uniform?
I do think Lanning has toned it down a bit. He wears a lot more Kelly green than the previous coaches have. The previous, I think it was pretty crazy that they played Ohio State in their first in the national championship game, and they showed up in all white, like not a single school color represented on their uniform in 2014 when we played them for the national title. I think that their color scheme is an A. Look, it has to be an A+ because to me it's their identity. This is what's made them who they are. It's the Phil Knight money. It's all of that. But it all started with the uniforms. And he was the first one, and they were the first ones to weaponize uniforms. Nobody ever thought that way. And then they weaponized it. And what that led to is other Nike schools say, hey, if they're getting that, we need some of that stuff too. And then it kind of went away a little bit. So it's not quite what it used to be. And I actually think Crispell's done a really good job of getting back to like that true Kelly green and gold look, which is really, really strong. They look great. Their games against us. So yeah, I think it's an A+ because in a way it defines them. Which player off their team would we want in scarlet and gray? There's a lot.
I was going to say, it's so funny because we just talked about all the guys they've battled over, and there's part of me that was really leaning towards 9.5 sacks in Mateo Ungale, but
yeah,
I'm going Dylan Thieneman. I think if you put him in that Ohio State defensive backfield with Caleb Downs and those cornerbacks, oh my gosh, you're not completing a pass on this Ohio State team with those guys back there. So that's the one I would take.
Yeah, I had them both written down. So
we all did.
I mean, just
pick one or the other. Yeah. I think Ungale would be, I mean, they both would start. They both would be great. And yeah, this is one of the teams where there's, quite honestly, like in the Big Ten, how many teams would we take multiple guys off of their team on our team and would they start? This one, Penn State, and then it gets dicey. But this one is, there's many you could take.
I was trying to see just how big their transfer tackle Isaiah World is. 6'8", 310 pounds. They got him from Nevada in the portal.
Their O-line, by the way, this year that they're going to be rolling out averages 325.
Wow, and it's 4 transfers.
Mm-hmm.
4 transfers on that offensive line for the Ducks. Yeah, there's a lot of talent. It's a really good team. All-time big man on campus at Oregon.
So I feel like probably the right answer is Marcus Mariota, but I feel like everything changed with Oregon when Joey Harrington was the quarterback there. He was so daggone good, ended up being the 3rd pick in the draft to the Detroit Lions, and it didn't work out for him in the league. But I just feel like the Oregon we see now started to happen when Joey Harrington was the quarterback there. So that's the guy to me.
Yeah, I'd have to agree with Harrington. That was kind of the first time I was introduced to Oregon, was when he was on the cover. I think it was 2001, that NCAA football game from EA Sports. Justin Herbert, honorable mention.
They've got a lot to choose from. I mean, they got a lot of guys who are really cool players. I think the thing with Harrington is that's when the uniforms were going too, because they had Achilles Smith, who was top 3 pick with the Bengals. So they had him, and then they backed that up with Harrington. That was the Bellotti years. And then they went. I think the correct answer here is Phil Knight is the ultimate big man on campus because he built it. But from a player standpoint, I think you probably have that right. I'm going to give an honorable mention to one of my favorite players as a kid. Dan Fouts was also an Oregon Duck from a bygone era.
It's a good one.
But they've had a lot of really cool guys. It's pretty wild, like the Mariota thing, because he is the most quiet dude ever. And the fact that he had that career that he had there is pretty wild. All right, win it all, playoff, conference champ, respectable or chump. What do you got for the Ducks?
So I do not think they're going to be as good this year as they were last year. And they were a team to me that could have won it all last year. I don't see Oregon winning it all this year. I do see them as a playoff team, though.
Yeah, I don't think a 13-0 is on the docket for this Ducks squad, but definitely make the playoff.
Yeah, if they're going to win it all, Dante Moore is going to have to be a dude. Like just an absolute dude, because they have everything else. It's just we haven't really seen him play, so we don't know what to expect out of it. But I would be shocked if they were not in the playoff. Absolutely shocked. I think they absolutely can be one of the teams that can win it all. And I think in a college football year where there are so many teams starting over at quarterback, it's a good year to start over because you're a lot like everybody else. And honestly, the guys who are returning, I'm not that high on Nussmeier or Aller. I'm not as high on those guys as we have been with some of these other guys who are returning. So yeah, I wouldn't be at all surprised if they did go ahead and win it all. If Moore's great, but I think they're a conference championship contender, and for sure, I can't imagine a scenario where they're not in the playoff. It just feels like that's kind of where this operation is going to be for a long time coming. 2 minutes from now, James Crepia going to join us, covers the Ducks at the Oregonian. He joins us coming up next. Bishop and Friends, right here on The Fan.
Need help with budgeting, debt, or savings goals? CME's certified financial counselors are here for you. Free, confidential, and ready to guide you with real-life solutions. Let's tackle your goals together. Terms and conditions apply. Federally insured by NCUA. Visit cmefcu.org for additional details.
Common Man here for Germain Lexus of Dublin and Easton. My guys at Germain are celebrating their biggest pre-owned sales event of the year. Tons of vehicles on the lot for you to choose from, and they're ready to deal. It's also the Lexus Golden Opportunity Sales Event with rates as low as 2.99%. I was riding in my Lexus on one of our hot summer days, and I felt the crisp breeze of cold air on my cracky. Don't you want that for yourself? Of course you do. Germain Lexus, 2 locations to serve you, Dublin and Easton, GermainLexus.com.
For over 78 years, our family's been part of your love stories. At Diamond Seller, we offer bigger diamonds, better prices, and timeless designs for every chapter of your life. From your first yes to your forever I do, trust the jeweler who knows diamonds best. Visit Diamond Seller today.
Skyline is introducing a new chicken chili. Come get that world-famous Skyline flavor you love with a new protein option. Try the new Skyline chicken chili on Waze, Coney's, and all your Skyline favorites. At Columbus Skyline locations only while supplies last.
Your bathroom's got to go, the vanity's decayed, and toilet's really old. The bathtub's giving way. If Bath R Us a ring, call morning, noon, or night. You do not have to wait to get your bathroom right.
Call Baths R Us for your free estimate and enter to win our Christmas in July $12,500 bathroom remodel with an additional savings of up to $3,000 plus low to no monthly payments. 380-225-2284. Baths R Us, where dreams soak in.
Master Grillers Unite. The grilling season never ends at Billiards Plus. Come see their best-in-class grills for yourself and check out Central Ohio's largest selection of pool tables, game furniture, and shuffleboard. Family-owned and operated. Billiards Plus on Dublin Center Drive in Dublin.
Bishop and Friends is sponsored by Diamond Seller, your true jeweler for over 75 years. The Fan, Ohio sports destination.
Find us on YouTube. Search WBNS Radio and you can see what Bo looks like. But only if you subscribe. This is Bishop and Friends.
All right, 20 most interesting Oregon Ducks. When we talk Ducks, we like to do so with our buddy James Crepia. Covers the Ducks at the Oregonian. He joins on the Bryan Heating Cooling Systems fan guest hotline. Buddy, it's still, we were just talking about it, one of the most stupefying halves of football that we've ever seen Ohio State ever play. Oregon was on the other end of it. In the days and weeks and months that have passed since, how has the fan base unpacked it? How has the program unpacked it? How did you unpack it, sitting there seeing it firsthand?
Well, the fan base, obviously in the immediate aftermath and for some time thereafter, it was quite bitter. I mean, look, you have a tremendous season and a historic season for the program, and what a sour note to end on. Because to your point, no one looks back on the game or the final score and has any kind of silver lining of, it got mildly competitive there for a moment, and then 41-21 isn't quite as bad as. It's like no, it was it was as ugly and everything as really believed it to be. Now, that said, you can get into all the circumstances by way of, Evan Stewart didn't play, and Jordan James got knocked out by the end of the first half. Give me a break. I mean, it was what it was. It was a disaster for Oregon's purposes. But at this point, this many months later, and I think for some, the fact that Ohio State went on to win the national championship, that might have blunted it ever so slightly, and I mean ever so slightly. But the fact that it was as ugly as it was, I don't think most Oregon fans really would have cared whether they would have lost by 6 or 60. Losing is losing. Call it what it is. When you really believe that you could win and compete for a national championship. Be that all as it may, this many months later, we all know how things ended up transpiring by the end of it. And both teams had a ton of really good players. But how did I handle it in the end, or digest it in the end by way of how ugly it was early? So, look, the best team in the country, who, calling it what it is, the most talented team in the country that we all knew all season long was the most talented team in the country, but they got in its own way a couple of times before that, figured some things out. And when the last several years, the team with the most players in the NFL draft won the national championship. It's amazing the correlation there. Now, why was it as ugly as it was that day? Because the team that had more talent and not a secondary full of 5'9" players outplayed the team that had also a lot of talent, missing some of it, and had a secondary full of 5'9" players. And that's not knocking those guys. Oregon had a tremendous season and achieved a lot of things defensively. despite the fact that they were undersized. But they were undersized. They won the regular season game against Ohio State. Credit to them, and for all the reasons that they still had the size disadvantage. But then when you throw to Jeremiah Smith against corners who are 5'9", it went accordingly.
Yeah, it's interesting. We were as you think about Oregon football over the last 25 years, and you think what it's built towards. I was always one of the ones around here. I was always, when they were talking about Big Ten expansion, I was like Oregon. Like, forget about USC. Like, Oregon's got everything headed in the right direction. The NIL is organized, and what I noticed, James, is you're right. Like, it's a pretty simple sport. If you have the most talent, you typically win. What I noticed certainly since Lanning's been there, and even with previous coaches, is going head to head with Ohio State, Alabama, Texas in recruiting and winning. And he's done that. And he continues to do it. And it's to the point now for their standard, I would assume that it's not that different than it is around here, where the standard is, hey, go win the league, go compete for a national title, rinse and repeat.
It's certainly getting to that level. I would say it's on its way there to that extreme. I would say, it's probably got one or two more rungs on the ladder before you quite get to the fervor of Columbus. To be honest with you, but it's awfully close. I mean, calling it what it is, it just is. Of the four West Coast schools, it certainly is the highest, and that is higher than SC. It is by way of expectations. And to your point, look, SC has certainly figured a few things out over the last year or so on the recruiting trail with NIL. But before that, obviously things were not quite as organized over there. But for Oregon's purposes, yes, obviously since Lanning has been there these last, now going on 4 seasons, but before that, really credit to Mario Cristobal and his staff because of what they inherited and a lot of the things on the back end at Oregon that while they had played for titles before that, yes, but then there was usually some severe drop-offs. Sustaining it was the problem, which is why there were coaching changes. Mario really put in a lot of the back-end infrastructure when you talk about how things to build a program, how things to build a support staff, recruiting staff, and the like, that was pre-NIL. and then when it moved into it, and then, Lanning and his staff has not just picked up the torch, picked it up and sprinted with it and enhanced it that much further. But like I say, credit is all around to both those two men and their staffs, and then the very, very large contingents of people who work behind the scenes with them.
Yeah, what is it about Lanning that I mean, it feels like to me like him and Ryan Day are going to be in these two spots staring at each other for the next decade or so. Is that the feeling you have there too, that he's home, he's going nowhere, and he's going to build, well, it already is a national power, but what is it about the fit with him out there that has been so good?
Yeah, I think it's so many things. It's the fact that, look, I mean, this is a fan base that call what it is, especially when Mario left. That was the second time in like a 5-year span that the coach had come in and they felt obviously really strongly about. And Mario was for far longer than Willie Taggart, but be that as it may, that they left. They left for school in Florida, and they were sick of feeling like that the institution and that the program was a stepping stone for somebody's higher career aspirations. And Dan came in, and there were naturally from that fan base some degree of concerns about that because, all right, here's another highly touted recruit coach with SEC ties, and is he going to up and do the same thing? And from the day he arrived, he maintained that was never going to be the case. And then with every contract extension thereafter and a buyout that increases and gets more extreme, it shows his level of commitment to it. So, no, and then in fact back it up with how he and his staff most of them have stayed and how they continue to build in the recruiting trail, and then the trajectory by way of year after year they continue to improve. That all helps. When you back it up, not just with words, but by actions, and those actions are winning football games and acquiring more talent to try to win even more football games. That all coincides. So to your point, I think he's there for the long haul. He's said it. He's done it so far. And when you have that success, that also helps your longevity also.
It does.
It's one thing to say I'm going to be here forever, and if you go out there and have a bunch of 7 or 5 seasons, I'm not sure how long forever is. But no, bottom line, he's backing it up. As is his staff and as is Oregon, because again they maintain not only the commitment to him but the rest of that coaching staff and a salary pool that continues to go up as well.
I'm looking at this roster and I'm like, man, if Dante Moore, and I'm sure that's it, right? I mean, that's the question. What do you know of him? What have you seen from him? What do you expect from him this year?
Well, in terms of physical tools and abilities, he probably has a higher ceiling than either Dylan Gabriel or Bo Nix by way of just physical tools and abilities. I mean, his throwing motion at times can look fairly effortless, quite honestly, and yet he has an unbelievable touch. That said, everybody can go back to his freshman year at UCLA and say, well, accuracy or mistakes or whatever. And you go, he was a true freshman, by the way. Mm-hmm. Let's go through the long list of how many players who started as true freshmen and how that went initially. But you spend a year. Having said it, again, you're a starter at a Power 4 school. Forget about whether there was success or otherwise. But your Power 4 school starter, lead 11 quarterback, all the rest, 5-star, and then you choose to not only transfer but transfer and know you're going to be sitting behind somebody.
Mm-hmm.
So it's one thing to go out and do it and say, "Oh, I want to be developed." Well, who doesn't? But to back that up and have the humility after being a starter to say, "No, I'm good. Okay, not being a starter for a year. I actually want to develop and I want to redshirt," and then do that. There is something to something to be said for that. Like how many players actually do that at the quarterback position? He did it. Now we're going to see exactly how much he did develop and progress in learning a system for a year without having to play on the field as much. But you saw it in the spring game where, yes, a lot of those tools and abilities that I mentioned are there. Now, it's not just on him, obviously. Yes, it's quarterback position, so a lot is, but it's about the surrounding pieces and cast as well. And for as much talent on paper as there is, nearly all of it on the offensive side of the skill positions is unproven. Outside of Mekhi Hughes, they bring in from Tulane, probably one of the best backs in the country, certainly in the Big Ten, maybe the best back in the Big Ten, quite frankly. But a receiving core that with Stewart down potentially for the entire season, likely for the entire season, a lot of talent, but a lot of it unproven, nearly all of it unproven, quite frankly. So, it's not just going to be on Dante Moore. There's going to be a lot of guys catching the football from him that they're going to have to call on who don't have stat lines that are full of numbers. A lot of them, frankly, have stat lines that are full of almost nothing because they have a pretty young receiving core who are either redshirt freshmen or true freshmen. What does success look like this season at Oregon? Oh boy, for this fan base, no less than 10 wins, quite literally, because there's not too many games on this schedule that this fan base in particular and any prognosticators and the like are really expecting them to have much struggles with. Just calling it what it is. I mean, yes, going to Penn State obviously is significant. That'll be an awfully big one, one might say. And then a home game at SC late. Okay, a trip to Iowa could be tough, certainly, but throw those in there. And I'm not looking past Indiana, but when you have them at home and, again, you recruiting-wise do what you do, they feel awfully good about. And, it's a rivalry. So, yes, rivalries are there. But whether it's in Seattle or not, Oregon obviously handled Washington last year. They're a very different team. So is Oregon. The Oregon fan base is not really too worried about Washington right now at the moment. By the time we get to November, yes, the fervor will ratchet up. The bottom line, it's really the Penn State game and potentially SC that they really look at as even really competitive. To be honest, that's why I say 10-2 would be in this fan base's minds almost like a worst case scenario because they really believe like they can go out there and not just could win every game. I don't want to say they quite have the expectation of 12-0 in the regular season, but they're getting there. I think by the time we get to late September, before the Penn State game, they might be talking themselves into it. And especially if they win after it, oh boy, they'll definitely have that expectation. But they're awfully close. Buddy, I got to tell you, I always was a proponent of Oregon coming in. If you were going to go west, you had to get them. They've proven certainly all of it, that they're worth all that they've come in for, and I love the ability to get to talk to you on a semi-regular basis. So thank you for your time. Greatly appreciate it, and I'm sure we'll do it again as the season goes along. Sounds good. Thanks, Bill. All right, there he goes. James Crepia covers the Ducks at the Oregonian, one of the best in the business. Yeah, I mean, you look at their operation, and it looks a lot like this one. The talent looks a lot like this one. The expectations feel a lot like this one. The Big Ten may have stumbled into Oregon, but they stumbled into a lottery ticket by adding the Ducks. We'll get you three things on a Thursday coming up next. Bishop and Friends right here on The Fan.
Head to 971thefan.com to listen on demand and subscribe to all our podcasts. Wasting time has never been easier. The Fan, Ohio sports destination.
When you speed, you have less time to react. Follow the speed limit to keep other road users safe. Speeding catches up with you. Paid for by NHTSA.
Hey, what's up? It's T-Bone. Guys, listen up. How many of you out there have been diagnosed with sleep apnea? Maybe your partner can't tolerate you snoring every night. You can't stand your CPAP machine. I totally get it. But the good news is there are alternatives to the CPAP machine. And Dr. Mark Levy is here to change your sleep and your life. Trust me, your significant other will thank you later. Dr. Mark Levy can customize an oral appliance that opens your airways, helps you breathe better, and of course, it stops your snoring. That's the point. It's quick, it's comfortable, and it's an alternative to those bulky, loud CPAP machines you always hear about. For over 15 years, Dr. Mark Levy has led the way when it comes to treating snoring and sleep apnea. And he's helped countless patients breathe easier, sleep better, and live healthier, more energized lives. If you're snoring and not sleeping, you need to call Dr. Mark Levy's office today. Schedule your appointment now with Dr. Mark Levy at 1-800-MORE-SLEEP. That's 1-800-MORE-SLEEP. You can also visit him online at sleepbettercolumbus.com. Once again, that's sleepbettercolumbus.com.
1-877 Cards for Kids. KARS Cards for Kids.
Ready to get rid of that old car? Donate it to Cars for Kids. Call 1-877-CARS-FOR-KIDS to reach a friendly live agent. Donation's super easy, and your car can be picked up as soon as tomorrow. Call us now, 1-877-CARS-FOR-KIDS.
1-877-CARS-FOR-KIDS. Donate your car today.
Did you know you can donate real estate too? Final days. Diamonds Direct Summer Showcase ends this Sunday, but there's still time to make it unforgettable. Get an extra 20% off almost everything. Engagement rings, wedding bands, earrings, gold jewelry, tennis bracelets, and stunning fashion jewelry. Plus, this weekend only, top designers from New York and LA are live in store with exclusive collections you can't find anywhere else. The sparkle, the savings, the moment. Don't miss it. Only through Sunday, only at Diamonds Direct. Appointments are filling fast. Get details at diamondsdirect.com.
Newman Roofing, as part of their 2025 Commitment to Community initiative, is proud to sponsor the Fan and 10 TV's Beat the Heat Fan Drive, benefiting Life Care Alliance. You can help Ohio's most vulnerable residents deal with the extreme heat this summer. How can you help? Purchase new box fans and bring them to the nearest Franklin County Fire Station, or you can buy online and ship fans directly to Life Care Alliance. The collection and distribution of fans is to assist residents who are at risk of heat stroke or heat exhaustion. For more information, go to lifecarealliance.org.
Save big on everything for your next project when you shop at Menards. Finish your outdoor wood projects with Cabot Premium Wood Care products. Australian timber oil is an exterior stain that provides maximum penetration, durability, and water repellency, making it ideal for decks, siding, outdoor furniture, and more. Save big money on all Cabot Premium Wood Care products. Plus, check out our weekly flyer on Menards.com for all the great deals happening this week.
Save big money at Menards. Morning Juice, real football talk. Just two guys who aren't afraid to say what needs to be said. And that's how she wrote.
Sponsored by Riverside Bank of Dublin.
Now streaming mornings on YouTube and 10 TV Plus. Attack and dominate.
Hi, I'm Rick Germain, and at Toyota West, we're having our biggest pre-owned sales event of the year. With over 600 new and pre-owned vehicles, Toyota West at I-270 and Georgesville Road has the car you're searching for. And during our Go Forth sales event, every pre-owned vehicle is discounted and comes with a 72-hour exchange policy plus a 3-month warranty. At Toyota West, you don't have to choose between a great experience and a great price. We deliver both. Come see us at the Germain Auto Mall on Georgesville Road or get started today at ToyotaWest.com.
Imagine what it would feel like getting tackled head-on by a 240-pound linebacker. You'd be in serious pain, right? But if you're unbuckled in a car crash, at just 50 miles an hour, you become a deadly projectile that can slam into other passengers with 8 times that amount of force. Don't let someone else take the hit. Buckle up and visit buckleup.ohio.gov to learn more. Brought to you by ODOT and ODPS.
Want to know anything about the Fans contest, how to win, or what's up for grabs? Check out 971thefan.com. The Fan, Ohio's sports destination.
The best hair on the air. You are listening to Bishop and Friends.
Some breaking sad news out of the entertainment and sports world. Legendary professional wrestler Hulk Hogan has died, according to TMZ Sports, at the age of 71. I think, simply put, the most important wrestler ever. That's it. I mean, that's...
He was the guy that made it mainstream.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I think he's the most important professional wrestler of all time. Obviously, there's been a lot out of the ring and post all of it, but one of those guys just from you almost don't even need to qualify it. Like, everybody knows who he is, and was just kind of, in my youth, was kind of omnipresent, was everywhere. I mean, that was, he fronted movies. He was Thunder Lips in Rocky III. And was just kind of there all the time. So he's past the age of 71. Reese, for you, a little younger than Bake and I, where does it hit for you? Is it Hollywood Hogan probably, right?
Yeah, it's black and white Hogan.
Yeah.
Dropping the leg on the Macho Man. And then he had, I think the red and yellow run with the championship in the WWE, but wrestling isn't what it is today without the Hulkster in the 80s.
That heel turn may be the single greatest moment in wrestling history. And you know what number 2 might be is him slamming Andre.
Yeah.
And he's involved in both of them.
Yeah. And people still talk about like him versus The Rock in WrestleMania, like later in his career, like all of that stuff. Like it was, he's a titan in American sports and entertainment over the last 25, 40, 50 years, really. What do we have on the poll today, Reese?
The Daily Fan poll asks, excluding Sharon Moore, which Big Ten head football coach do you dislike the most?
I don't dislike Sharon Moore much.
Kurt Cignetti, James Franklin, Dan Lanning are your choices.
That one.
Franklin's leading by a lot. 53% say Franklin, 25% say Cignetti, 16% say Dan Lanning. Others getting about 4% here in Kirk Ferentz. Someone threw out Tony Alford after Sharon Moore gets fired. So taking some strays there.
It's Cignetti. If Cignetti was at a better school, where like if he had been hired at like Nebraska or Wisconsin and he was doing this, then now you're for it. Like Will Howard putting out the cigarette is never going to get old for me. I'm for it always. Time for 3 things on a Thursday.
1, 2, 1, 2, 3 things.
Sponsored by Buckeye Lake Marina, Central Ohio's largest selection of new and pre-owned boats. Find your next dream boat at BuckeyeLakeMarina.com.
Number 1 for me, got done with work yesterday, and the 2 oldest were downstairs, and they were playing the college football video game, and they were playing with our high school. And I went, wait, what? Where'd you get that? So you can, on a recruit, on a build a player, you can build your high school. So, Reese, you could play quarterback for Upper Arlington, and their uniforms are in the game.
The dream.
This would have ruined me. I wouldn't have left the basement to be able to play my high school. It's crazy. It's such a cool feature.
First thing for me, in Detroit today is the Mid-American Conference Media Day. They're going to just do one, I think. The MAC football coaches preseason poll has Toledo winning the conference, followed by Miami and Ohio. Toledo, the Rockets getting 7 first-place votes. Miami and Ohio both getting 3 each. Conference champ Toledo with 6 votes. Miami 4. Ohio 3 votes. That's fine. You keep hitting on the Bobcats. The champs are going to repeat. I can feel it.
First thing for me, congratulations to go out to a couple of my favorite broadcasters. One of them, Tom Hamilton, he's getting inducted into the Pro Baseball Hall of Fame this weekend as the Ford Frick Award nominee this year. I still remember Tom Hamilton and Bill Hoskett calling Buckeye basketball games for years. Hammy is one of the best, so Hammy will not be going with the Guardians this weekend on their trip to Kansas City. The Columbus Clippers' own Ryan Mitchell will be there calling the games for the Guardians this week. His first call up to the big show. Mitchell has been calling baseball games for 24 seasons. He's in his 17th season with the Clippers. Hard to find a lot of guys that are better than Ryan Mitchell. Congratulations to Hammy and Mitchell.
That's awesome. That's a great story. I love that. Number 2 for me, having seen like the Green Bay Packers uniform and the Steelers uniform, and even some of what maybe some of you think about what the Browns did. Just because you can do something doesn't mean you should. The Packers are brutal. The Steelers are brutal. I just don't know if it's going to move merch either. It feels like the NFL, like they got the green light to wear multiple shells, and they just kind of went nuts with it. And I think one thing that's so strong about that league is the teams look like the teams most of the time. And I just don't know if this is going to hit the way that they think it's going to hit.
Second thing for me, the commissioner of the Mid-American Conference is Dr. John Steinbrecher, and he opened his remarks asking Congress again for assistance in NIL and transfer portal help. Stop asking Congress for help. They're not coming to save college athletics. And this, I think, buttresses my point that you cannot tell me Ohio and Ohio State should be playing for the same thing. The only way to solve this is to make your college football players employees of the university and separate the Power Four from the rest of Division I.
So I was going to talk about the YouTube chat, but I'll save that for tomorrow. With Hulk Hogan dying today and then Ozzy Osbourne the other day, it's pretty crazy that it just seems like we always have these guys that, you know, it's like a grouping. They say it always happens in threes, and it seems like that is true. But it got me thinking about a couple guys who haven't passed away here. Keith Richards and Ric Flair. Yeah. Like, are those two like the same guy here? Like, they've had so many health scares over the years and seem to be so old. Somehow they keep outliving everybody. Like, what devil did they sell their soul to that they can keep living?
It's wild. Malcolm Jamal Mortner this week too as well. So it was a lot going on. Number 3 for me finally. So NBC's having like 3 of his buddies over for a sleepover tonight, and I said, "Well, what are you going to do?" And he said, "We're going to play poker." I'm not a fortune teller. I can't see into the future. This will go poorly. This will go very, very poorly to have 13-year-olds playing poker in my basement tonight.
My third thing, do you have a table?
Yeah.
Okay. So you have a table, chips, and cards.
Yeah. But they're going to try doing it with money, and it's going to lead to fights. I mean, the only way it doesn't is if I'm the dealer. That's the only way it doesn't.
Final thing for me, don't go anywhere. Stay locked right here all afternoon. Rothman and Ice coming up next. Speaking of good broadcasters, Dylan Tyre, he's filling in for AR with Matty Ice today.
There you go. You got that to look forward to, which is nice. We're back tomorrow. Thanks for listening, everybody. Bishop and Friends, right here on The Fan.
Oh, hey, the best football team in the country's on the best radio station in the country. Congratulations, Buckeyes. Here's to 100 more years together. Your home of the Buckeyes, The Fan.
This is Jeff for Tri-State Men's Health, where we've successfully treated thousands of men for low testosterone and helped them feel like their old selves again. Please take a moment and listen to how we helped Chad.
Hi, I'm Chad. I've been taking the low T treatment at Tri-State Men's Health for a little under a year now. So I was really just struggling with finding the energy to accomplish the things I wanted to do every day. By the end of the workday, I was very drained and tired and found it hard to concentrate and get my job done, and was looking for something to kind of get that edge back. Once I started taking the treatment, I felt probably within the first 2 to 3 weeks more energy. And the thing that really I noticed right away was sleeping. Now I get a solid 8 hours. You know, I'm going on vacation. I'm enjoying myself. So men out there, if you're struggling with any of the symptoms I was, low energy, brain fog, lack of sleep, I would highly recommend you call Tri-State Men's Health. You won't regret it.
Thanks, Chad. It's true. Low T therapy will likely change your life. Call 800-900-9654 or go to tristatemenshealth.com.
Hi, I'm Dr. John Runyon from Runyon Dental Group. Are you missing teeth or do you have uncomfortable dentures? Dental implants can not only transform your smile, they can restore your confidence and allow you to eat those foods you love that you've been missing. When I was in my early 30s, I was in a similar situation needing complex dental work and dental implants. I understand all the emotions that you're feeling because I've been the patient and I know that we can help you. Schedule a free consultation today at runyondentalgroup.com. That's runyondentalgroup.com.
It's Leslie from Pella Columbus.
I'm Wilson from that other window place.
Wilson, I got the nicest Google review today. Dewey from Gehanna said, "We cannot believe we are able to get the Pella look and quality at the cost we did."
I got a review too. Listen to this. "These windows were great." Oh boy, for about a year. Looks like I'll need to renew, in quotes for some reason, my windows way too soon. Repeat customer?
Get the window that homeowners rated the leading window brand in Columbus at PellaColumbus.com.
Hey, is that knee, shoulder, hip, that pain in any of your joints not getting better? You're stuck in this cycle where you keep going back to the doctor. They recommend steroid shots. Maybe they recommend surgery, rehab, and all of those things are not working for you. before you go down the road of the surgery, you'll want to listen to this. Hey, it's Bobby Carpenter. I want to tell you something that helped me a ton. It'll help a lot of other people get their lives back as well. And this is no more meds and not going under the knife. I'm talking about my friends at QC Kinetics, Real Regenerative Medicine. They help your body heal itself. After years of playing professional football, I was beat up. My dad was beat up. I didn't know what to do. I didn't want to have any more surgery. So I went to my friends at QC Kinetics, and they took a look at it, and they said, hey, we can help you with your knee. It's not going to be an overnight fix, but they've got protocols and procedures to help get you well without going under the knife. So here's what you do. Call 380-208-4544. That's 380-208-4544. They have offices all over Columbus.
Breaking news, and this one is almost unbelievable.
Yeah, it's all about new customers at Bet365 because they get $150 in bonus bets when they bet $5, win or lose. And even better, bonus bets can be used on the spread, totals, and player props.
There you have it. Bet $5 to get $150 in bonus bets, win or lose. And see why it's never ordinary at Bet365. 21 plus only. Must be physically located in Ohio. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. T&Cs apply. Available in app only.
It's the summer event at Germain Honda of Dublin, and Rich has unbeatable offers. Lease a sleek 2025 Honda Accord LX for as low as $329 a month, or finance it with 3.99% APR. Or upgrade to Adventure with the 25 Honda Pilot Sport all-wheel drive. Leases starting at $429 per month or 4.49% APR. Drive into summer with style, comfort, and confidence. Visit Germain Honda of Dublin on Sawmill Road, just south of 270. See dealer for details.
Hey, Joe Fortenbaugh here. Whether you're locking in your home run picks or riding with your favorite golfers this summer, ESPN Bet is your sports book for all the action. Go from checking stats on your favorite teams and players to placing bets in just a few taps. Plus, new customers can get $100 in bonus bets when you make your first $10 wager. Download the ESPN Bet app and sign up with the promo code JOEQ to get started today. Must be 21 plus. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Terms and conditions apply. See app for details. Offer not available in New York.
Rita, Jorge, let's bring the nail gun over here.
Jose stands tall atop his sustainable flooring company.
Totally. It's renewable and moisture resistant, but we have several green options too. Or we got some beautiful reclaimed oak.
But floored by his success, he needs to hire more installers.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. When you sponsor a job on Indeed, it's easier for talented candidates to find it, which makes it easier for you to hire them. Visit Indeed.com/credit and get $75 towards your first sponsored job. Terms and conditions apply.